What's happening? Welcome to the Prophecy Podcast. I'm your host, Obese Prophet. We got the other host with us here this
Hey,
time.
yo, yeah, this is Justin Martin.
Dustin Martin. We got crazy episode today. Um, just been dealing with a lot of shit. Here I am in Indianapolis on business, doing stuff out here. Video and photography stuff. So it was coming down on Friday. We had a huge storm. My flight was delayed and canceled. And then we had to fly out on Saturday. It pushed everything around. It just messed everything up. So going back finally tomorrow, and happy about that. Finally get to be home and settled in.
Smoke some weed.
Smoking weed again, yeah, because there's no weed out here in Indianapolis or Indiana as a whole. You can't really have any weed, so I left it. And it's been a fun time dealing with all the airline problems and all that good stuff. So it's been a long weekend, but we got pretty dope musical guests on with us tonight.
Yes.
And I just want to briefly touch base on a couple things. Moving forward, not this episode, obviously, but future episodes when I'm back up home, we hope to have Sean Dot join us more often to co-host, whether it's at my house or from his house too. This week he really wanted to, and he was going to if I was home tonight. I was going to pick him up on my way through, and just have him come to my house, but I didn't. He wasn't really set up and prepared to do it from home. So I was just like, don't worry about it. So hopefully next week we'll have him on and he'll be more full-time and become more engaged as we go on with that and come up with his own kind of identity and questions to ask people and engagement and all that good shit. So we look forward to having that more people we have on the show as hosts. I think it's better. I think it's good to have other opinions and people that will ask questions that we might miss and stuff like that. So there's that. And another brief thing too, back on the 26th of January, I had to put my dog down. I had my dog Bryce since May. He was born in March of 2012. I had him since May of 2012. So he was about to be 10 years old. And unfortunately, he had liver failure and from having Lyme disease that went undiagnosed because he didn't show any symptoms of it. Eventually, it just kind of took over his life, and he stopped eating and didn't want to do much of anything. So we knew it was time, and it was a tough decision, but it's what has to be done when you have pets. Sometimes that's how it goes, and unfortunately, we were positioning ourselves prior to this happening to get another dog. Yeah, so we had the weekend before he passed away, and we had to put him down. The other dog, Rose, her breeder, hit us up saying that Rose's mom and dad, and Rose is 5 now, but Rose's mom and dad were about to have a litter, and they had just, and the way it works, the universe, how it aligns and everything goes is, Bryce was born on St. Patrick's Day, 2012. It was March 17th, and this new dog was conceived, I guess, on the 13th of January, which would put the birth date sometime right around the middle of March. So we were like super excited, thinking, it's going to be right around his birthday. Maybe we get the dog is born and we'd be able to go down and see, because that was the plan. Dog gets born, we go down and we pick which dog we want. And bring the dogs down with us. That was the plan, and that kind of got thrown out the window. And we found out, like, literally the weekend before we had to put him down, that we were gonna be able to get this new dog. So it was like, yeah, we're happy, and then it was like that happened, and it was totally the opposite of being happy. And we all had to cope with that and deal with that while trying to, kind of be excited about, getting this new dog, because it is exciting and it's something that you should be excited about. We just wish that Bryce could have been around to, dogs are different than humans, but in a way they kind of teach each other things, and he was such a great dog. We were hoping he'd be around to kind of pass along Um, you know what I mean? Just to kind of help the new dog along his way. And we just thought he may make it for that, but unfortunately he didn't. And I wanted to talk about it because last week I didn't talk about it. It was something I didn't really want to bring up last week. But I feel more comfortable with it now, and I feel like it's better when you talk about it and put it out there. The more you talk about it, I guess the more it normalizes it for you. We've dealt, me and my cousin, we've dealt with loss pretty personally before, so I think that we do a pretty good job with dealing with it and coping with it and understanding it. It's just in the moment, especially last week, and it was Wednesday, and then it was Sunday that I had the show. I just couldn't bring it up at that point. So, but yeah, I wanted to bring it up. He deserves to be mentioned. He was a great dog. I never expected him to be so great. He was a dog, first-time breeder, first-time litter from this first-time breeder. And when we first showed up to pick him up, his dad, his name was Charlie. He was a golden retriever, lighter golden retriever. But when we showed up, he was like I think they said he was like 2.5 years old, but he was still like in a crate, like all the time, right? So we showed up and the dad's in a crate, and we're thinking, fuck. He's 2.5 and they still got him crated. The dog might be crazy, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh. Well, it turns out he wasn't crazy. He listened really well. He was on voice command. You didn't really have to leash him. He just would hang out and listen. And my other dog, who was great, is just like the total opposite of that. Doesn't really listen that great. Is loyal and everything, but still very exploratory and just wants to like run around and do shit. You know what I mean? And harder to control. And it was a good balance. So hopefully the new dog can be that balance for us moving forward. And going to try to do with the new dog things that we didn't do with Bryce. We did a lot with Bryce. I mean, he traveled the world. The dog's been from Maine to Arizona to Florida to, everywhere in between, and to tons of places in Maine. I mean, West Quaddy Headlight, Acadia, that whole area, like to southern Maine, to living in Fort Kent, to living in, all these other places. So he had a good time. He had a good run. And like I said, it would be a disservice to him to not mention that at all. So I felt the need to do that. So now that we got that out of the way, anyone who knows me personally would know that my dogs mean a lot to me. So he deserved a little bit of mentioning on the show. So usually you could see him too, on episodes. We go and look back, he's chilling on the bed or whatever in the background. So but yeah, we got a great show tonight. We're going to get into some music from local guy in Worcester County, Maine, Bouley, formerly known as Neo 207. And we're going to talk about some strange news, and we're going to talk about whatever happens to come up, how it goes. So yeah, without further ado, let's bring in tonight's guest. What's up, Mr. Bouley?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, bro. Good. I don't know if you could hear us when you're in that room over there, but we just were talking about a couple things I wanted to mention, and my dog being put down and stuff I've been going through the past week or whatever. But now we're here, and yeah, we want to get into it. So, let everybody know. We kind of always start the show with like a basic artist introduction. Where you're from. How long you've been making music. How you got your name. You can explain your name pretty easily now. But,
yeah. The name before that, Neo 207, it was Northeast Original acronym. Just something I came up with real quick. 207, showing the state that we live. And then past that, I switched the name over to Bouley because one primary thing, man, I had a bunch of people that kept on like uploading music to Spotify and Pandora and all that stuff that would end up getting put up to mine because Neo's that common name that everybody messes with. So I just said, screw it, I'm switching it back to my last name.
Yep.
That's what I started with years ago. Back on that, but yeah, I live in northern Maine. I live in Grand Isle at the moment. I'm 23. Been doing music for 4 years now. I'd say about 4 years, and yeah, just been working on that ever since, man.
Awesome. That's awesome, dude. So 4 years. That's not a long time. 23 is pretty young. So what would you say you pull on for like your influences for making music? Like, who are some artists that kind of inspired you to start making music?
That's actually a tough one because I listen to a lot of different people, like a lot of underground stuff. But I'd say probably the first one that really inspired me was Tech Nine. Tech Nine with his chopper flow and just the way that he articulates words, it's a little bit different than most people.
Yeah.
And I'd say he's like probably my top 5 at the moment. He's got to be my top 5.
And he's an older dude too, I think. But technically,
Oh,
pushing 50, isn't he? Almost probably.
Yeah, he's like 48, I think, right now. 47.
Yeah, and still doing it though. Like longevity.
Dude kills it.
Yeah, of course. Dope. So underground stuff, and so that's kind of, I was gonna say that kind of shines through in the music that you do. So it's not like the music that you make isn't like new age, like fucking trap music. You know what I mean? Not that I have really anything against that. I'm just saying you can tell when you listen to your music that it has like an eclectic feel to it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, let's. Now we got that out of the way. Let's jump into some strange news. I think I got an article or two. I don't know what you have, Justin, but if you do have something, why don't you roll with it? If you don't, I'll roll with something.
Yeah, I was over this week, so go for it.
All right, so there was a woman in Texas. I got a couple weird ones, funny fucking weird stuff, but this one's in Texas, so usually some strange news typically comes out of like Florida or like just we talk about weird shit in general, but you see this a lot of times. Texas, I guess, could really fit that bill too. So a Texas woman was arrested for trying to buy a baby.
Oh yeah, I did fucking see this one.
For $500,000, right?
At a Walmart.
Yeah. So a mother's love is priceless, obviously, right? Texas woman learned that the hard way when she tried to purchase a child at Walmart for $500,000. And no, the department store hasn't started carrying great value brand babies. Instead, according to court documents, the woman tried to buy the toddler from another shopper in the store. Of course, buying or even attempting to buy children isn't exactly legal. So Rebecca Lynette Taylor, 49, of Crockett, Texas, got arrested for her antics on January the 18th. The bizarre chain of events is detailed in an affidavit of probable cause filed with the Crockett Police Department on January 13th. Taylor was, along with unnamed other woman, was at the Crockett Walmart. According to the affidavit, the two women approached a third woman who was remaining anonymous as she waited in the self-checkout line with her children. She had a baby in a car seat while her 1-year-old sat in the cart. Taylor allegedly approached the woman and began commenting on her son's blonde hair and blue eyes. What could have been a nice compliment to a mother quickly took a creepy turn as Taylor asked for much more than the mother would be willing to accept. The mother initially thought Taylor was just making some kind of weird joke and tried to laugh off and continued doing the self-checkout, but it turned out that Taylor was dead serious and wouldn't leave her alone. She told the mother that she had $250,000 in cash in her car and was ready to give it all if the mother allowed Taylor to walk off with her son. Naturally, the mother declined and told her no amount of money would do. Taylor was not ready to give up, though. She kept asking the mother to reconsider, saying she wanted to purchase a baby for a long time. The bizarre justification did nothing to change the mother's mind. At this point, she told Taylor to get away from her and her son. Things got even weirder when the woman accompanied Taylor and suddenly started asking the mother what her son's name was. The mother naturally didn't share any information, but Taylor and her friends still started calling the boy by his name. Taylor and the other woman hadn't had any prior contact with the child as far as the mother was aware. She had no idea how they found out his name. So that's a little twist. If you didn't read the article, that's weird, right?
That is really weird, yeah.
That's like crazy. All right, so then things got worse, though. Eventually, the two women stopped pestering the mother and left the store. She waited for a while after they left before walking outside and heading towards the car because she obviously didn't want to run into them again. But once in the parking lot, Taylor began screaming at the mother in the police affidavit raised, saying that if she wouldn't take $250,000 for him, and she'd give her $500,000 because she wanted him and was going to take him. So the mother quickly locked her children in the car as Taylor kept yelling at her from behind a black SUV parked right next to the mother's vehicle. Taylor repeated she wanted to have the boy and would pay $500,000 for him. She must have eventually realized she wasn't going to get the child because she got in the SUV and left. Once the mother felt confident Taylor wasn't coming back, she called the police. When the police showed up, obviously they ran that and they figured it all out. But first off, who the fuck has $250,000 or $500,000 in cash in their car? Like, Me personally, if she would have said that to me, I'd have said, "Sure, let's go. Let's go out to the car and get that money." And then I would have just taken that money and drove off and be like, "Yo, tell the cops what you were doing." You know what I'm saying? And why you
Yeah, for
have
real.
the money. Go ahead, try to explain it to me. That's what I would say. But obviously, this woman was scared she had her kids. But if I'm just saying, if that was me, that money would be mine. But I really don't think the money was there. I mean, I don't think that that's something that
No fucking way.
because here's the thing: you got arrested and had a $50,000 bond and is still sitting in jail.
Yeah, you'd think she'd be able to pay for that bond right then and there if you had
I'd say so,
$50,000. Like,
So I'm not too sure that I believe that 100%. But what a strange story. How did she know the kid's name? How was she parked right next to the lady? Was she
Right.
following? Like she going through the records? I mean, what did she work at the hospital? It has to be something because the child was so young. So it's not like they're on social media or they're out there saying, "Hey, my name is this," you know, or maybe she
Yeah.
followed around the store and heard her say. It's just really weird. How'd they get that information? I feel like there's more of a backstory there behind that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
still pretty creepy. It makes me, think. I'm a guy. I feel like if I'm in the store, I don't really feel someone would approach me. But yeah, being a woman,
Yeah.
it might be completely different and scary, dude. Because I mean, that's a scary situation when someone tells you they're gonna take your fucking kid and you're just by yourself.
Right.
I'm not one to, mince words. That's just a scary situation. I wouldn't want anyone to be in. But yeah, so just another reason not to go to Texas, and there's a long list of reasons why not to go there. But that's just another one to add to that. And also, so another story too, that blind bisexual Jonathan has become the world's oldest tortoise. Right? Change of guard took place this year in the realm of tortoises. Jonathan, a 190-year-old giant tortoise living on St. Helena, has become the world's oldest tortoise ever. It's an understatement, actually, because Jonathan is now officially the oldest chelonian, the order of reptiles that includes all turtles, terrapins, and tortoises. So he's the oldest of all those motherfuckers, right?
Mhm.
On top of that new record, Jonathan was already the world's oldest living land animal. The senior certainly received the recognition his age deserves. But the years have taken their toll on Jonathan. He did go blind long ago, and he lost his sense of smell. Jonathan hasn't let such trivialities as lacking sight or smell slow him down, though. The nearly bicentennial tortoise spends his day sleeping, eating well, and getting his tortoise freak on with his boyfriend. That's right. On top of being bicentennial, Jonathan's bisexual. Jonathan originally
And he's
arrived.
blind.
Well, he's blind. Yeah, that's probably why. But the island of St. Helena, he arrived on that island in 1882. He wasn't even he wasn't a hatchling even back then, though. Although his actual birthday remains a mystery, he had already reached a respectable age when he first set foot on St. Helena. It's estimated that in 1882 he was already roughly 50 years old. So he's been on
That's
this
insane.
St. Helena since 1882. So it's crazy to think how much shit a tortoise could go through. You know what I'm saying?
My man went through World War I, World War II. He went through
bro,
everything.
and he didn't even know, or none the wiser to it. So shout out to that. But he roamed the island for decades to the amusement of the British officials and their guests. As the years kept coming, he started turning from a calm young man into a cranky geezer. When Jonathan reached his 80s, in other words, sometime in the 1930s, he had become increasingly annoyed and aggressive. He would knock over benches and even started chasing cricket players on the lawn of St. Helena's governor's mansion. For another 6 decades, he continued wreaking slow-moving havoc on the island. Finally, at long last, somebody thought to ask why the turtle had become so grumpy. Was it just his age, or maybe he's sick? A veterinary checkup revealed the reason. Jonathan was suffering from a serious case of blue balls. Jonathan's caretakers decided it was time to get him a girlfriend, and so in 1991, Frederica, a sprightly young tortoise, arrived on the island. Jonathan was soon smitten with his new partner. The two tortoises started spending more and more time together, developing a strictly scheduled daily routine. The couple would sleep during the same hours every day, before proceeding to dine on veggies and vitamins, and every Sunday morning, Jonathan would hump the living daylights out of Frederica. That was like his daily Sunday thing. So Jonathan and Frederica's romance blossomed like this for nearly 30 years, but for some reason, they never managed to produce any offspring. Then, In 2017, caretakers discovered a newly developed lesion on Frederica's shell. Vets came and repaired the damage, no problem, but they noticed something else, that Frederica is actually Frederick. So he wasn't blind at that time. So, without anyone realizing, Jonathan and Frederick had been having a gay old time together. Despite them now being outed, their caretakers decided to let them keep living as they'd been for almost 3 decades. And so it is to this day. Every Sunday morning, Frederick dutifully bottoms for his elderly lover. 2 are better than 1, yes. You see your hands up in the back row. But doesn't this make Jonathan a gay tortoise, you ask? The answer is no. He might be the oldest thing on land, but Jonathan still has the seismic lust of a young hormone-ridden tortoise. And although he's clearly dedicated to Frederick, their relationship isn't monogamous. To satisfy his tremendous thirst for tortoise sex, Jonathan acquired a friend with benefits. That name of that friend is Emma. Residents and caretakers on the island have spotted the two banging on occasion. Maybe Frederick had a headache that day. We don't know. There's also a fourth tortoise on the island called David, and Jonathan has attempted to get busy with him too, but apparently David doesn't swing that way, and he keeps rejecting the old geezer's advances. It seems Jonathan's going to have to keep enjoying the autumn days of his life while banging only 2 of his 3 friends. So, I mean, tortoises are crazy, man, because they live for so long and they see so much shit, and it's like, who are we to say? You know what I mean? It's like, just let that fucking tortoise do whatever, bro. Like, as long as he's not killing people, I say he's good to go.
Yeah.
Don't get him a gun, that's all. That's all we say. If he got this guy a gun, he might not be able to hit you. You can't see that great. You don't know what he's shooting. Yeah, man. So that was a weird one too. I remember actually a few years back reading about this tortoise. You know what I'm saying? And now that he's still alive blows my fucking mind, because back then I thought it was crazy that he was like alive. I'm like, damn, this guy is like 180 years old. Blah 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 blah. And now, and we knew about this story then, but I guess this as he's aged another 10 years, of course, that brings it back up into the news or whatever. But yeah, that pretty much covers what I would have for strange news this week, if anybody feels like chiming in on that.
No, pretty solid week. Gay turtles and stealing and trying to sell kids, you know?
Yeah. Selling kids is like, that's even crazier than the tortoise one. I think the craziest thing about the tortoise story isn't that he's trying to bang everything that moves. I mean, he's an animal, right? It's that he's 190 fucking years old, dude, and like still doing it, just still living. Like, he can't see, can't smell, but he's just going.
I also think it's fucked up that they thought the fucking other turtle that they brought in was a female and found out, 30 years later, like, oh shit, it's not.
Well, you can't tell, like, you think the people that are specifically, you know, educated to be in this field would know what the fuck they're talking about,
right?
But here they are, not knowing shit, can't tell a dick. Yeah,
they're like, wait a minute, you guys.
Oh, I'm fucked up, man.
Yeah, man,
that's too much, man.
Something else, bro. Sometimes I don't understand what people are thinking as far as their jobs. You know, how things get overlooked. It's not just these vets or whoever, but like, if you just look around on your daily, you can see so many people. It's like, how are they still working? How do they, you know what I mean? How do they even get this job? Like, what's going on? Did they even get trained? It's like, I see it all the time, especially people who work for big corporations, like the chains and shit like that. Walmart, like, well, if you ever try to fucking work at Walmart, they literally bring you in for an orientation that lasts an hour and a half or 2 hours, right? They just tell you a bunch of shit and have you fill out a bunch of shit, and they're like, all right, show up for your shift. You show up for your fucking shift, they just put you to work. There's no training. They say, hey, go to this aisle and wait for Johnny, and he'll fucking show up and be like, here's your shit, do this. And guess what? They don't. I've been down that road. Like, I was waiting for hours. I was at Walmart. I got a job at Walmart, bro. I was there for fucking 3 hours and no one even approached me to tell me what to do. I was walking around looking all up and down the aisles for somebody, and I kept asking, like, where's the guy supposed to train me? And they're like, oh, I'll send him to you. I waited like an hour. I'm like, what the fuck? I was just like, I went to the front. I'm like, I'm out. I don't do it. You want to pay me for nothing, I'll hang out, but you ain't telling me what to do. So it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And then on top of that, if you've been to Walmart, you know, they don't have no fucking like fancy touch screens in front of them where they can like add, it's just buttons, dude. It's like a fucking calculator in front of you. How do you do that? It's a mind fuck. They don't have no baggers. They got to do it all themselves. People come out and bring $700 worth of fucking groceries when they get food stamps, bro, and someone's got to put that all through, and then and there's no bags in Maine. I don't know if in Massachusetts is no plastic single-use bags, but in Maine we can't do that, so you got to bring your own bags, and people forget, and then it's like you're loading up a cart with just there's no bags, and it's like it's becoming a shit show. And the way that they don't train is horrible, dude. And they're like, yeah, we pay, you pay $14 or $15 an hour. It's not enough. It's not enough to train yourself to fucking do a job you've never done before. You're like, okay, no. You in a regular job that a job is good when you take your time to train you. If you're training like a week, 2 weeks, that's standard, I would think. A couple weeks worth of training is a good set. You don't want to send some, and I think that's what Walmart's all about. Is that they feel like there's always gonna be people that are gonna come work. So if they don't work out, it's whatever. They got people lining up, right? But I think that mentality should change. I mean, that's just me, but I think that they should take more time and invest in the people, and they might actually see that able to retain people, and people might actually, like their job and not go on the Walmart haters forums and just constantly post about all the fucking bad shit that goes on at Walmart, because I went on and read about it. And don't get me wrong, it was cool because they gave me like $150 bonus for being vaccinated. So like I worked one day and made like $300. I was like, damn, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, for real.
As stressful as it was that day, because look, seriously, I went down this fucking aisle, and of course I had the vest on and everything. I'm like, I'm trying to do something. And I'm like looking at shit, pulling it for, like waiting for people, and everybody and their fucking mother wants to come up and ask you shit, like, yo, where's this? And it's like, nobody told me, but I've been to this Walmart like 1,000 times, so let me take you to where it is. Like, you know what I mean? I know where it is, but like,
if it works, it works, man.
Like, where's this? Where's that? And it's
you should have been fucking with people. Just be like, aisle 10.
I did fuck with this one dude.
The back corner of the stove.
Yeah, I fucked with this one guy. He was like, because like he literally asked me for something that if he would have turned around, it was like right there. And so I sent him down towards electronics. I was like, yeah, it's probably down that way. If you just go down, take a right, and then you'll get to like where the TVs are. And if you take another right, it's probably like right over there. And like 10 minutes later, I noticed he was walking back towards where I was. So I went and hid. I was just like, I'm going to go over here. So he comes back looking for me. He won't find me. So I played a little bit of games, but then that got boring. And I'm like, I don't want to be approached by somebody like, what the fuck are you doing? So I just, and everything there is you don't punch in. It's like on your phone. So like I just went on my phone, punched out, walked the fuck out. And nobody called me, bro. It was like 3 days into, like I hadn't shown up for work for 3 days. And then fucking someone called me like, oh, we missed your shift. Are you still going to come in today? No. Obviously I didn't show up for 3 days. I mean, what the fuck do you think? You didn't train me. And that to me was like a slap in the face. They said they were going to train. We're going to have somebody so-and-so train you. And I'm like, cool.
They didn't even train the people who checked.
Fucking didn't show up for 3 days.
I know.
Yeah, they obviously they're not training the people that check on the people that are supposed to be there.
Yeah, the supervisors
3 days later,
like they're off in the back, like crushing boxes and shit for 3 hours, trying to hide too, And they're like, I don't want to go to the front, and fucking train somebody. That nobody wanted to do that. I was the guy in my section, but I was like, yo, I don't know what to do, and he's like. He literally shrugged his shoulders. I'm like, should I just go stand over in my section? And he's like, yeah, I'll page so-and-so and tell him that you're there. And he paged him, and that was my first hour of waiting. I literally was just in the toy aisle, like pulling toys to the front and like playing with them and shit, picking up the trash everybody jams on the shelves, because I filled up a whole fucking thing worth of trash. An old fucking baby bottle someone had left in there, like filled with moldy juice. I'm like, how long has this been here? You got people in these aisles, they say that people are stocking every day. Well, this has been here for a while. Nobody even pulled it out of here. It just got me thinking of how shitty of a job it is, where people don't even want to pick up a fucking moldy juice thing. They'd rather just put product in front of it and put it in the back of it.
Yep. Yeah, they don't get paid enough for that shit.
It made me reconsider. I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth it to work for a place like this. I'd rather just be broke or fucking homeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't need that.
Wow.
Shout out to anybody who works at Walmart. I'm not downing people who work at Walmart, because I'm actually giving a lot of respect to people who work at Walmart, because it's not fucking easy. And everybody out there might say, oh, Walmart, you're getting paid too much money. No, they're not. Like, the amount of work you have to do at Walmart is like the work of 3 people. And if minimum wage is $12.75, I think is what it is in Maine right now, you should get 3 times that working at Walmart. That's just my opinion.
I mean, if I'm getting 3 times that, I'm about to go work at Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And maybe not the greeters. I mean, they're not doing too much, but they do stand all fucking day, and I think they deserve like 2 times minimum wage. And they don't. And I don't know about all WalMarts, but I know the Walmart I go to. I always look when I go and see the greeters and see if they have like a pad or like a mat that you can stand. You know, they make mats that make standing a little easier. Nope, they don't have that. None of that Walmart anyway. So I feel bad for them too, because a lot of times it seems like the people that they put as greeters are already somewhat disadvantaged in some ways. Like maybe they have a physical disability or a mental disability, and they stick them there. And that's a fucking hard ass job. If you got a mental disability, especially, that's a hard fucking job. And yeah, you're greeting people, but to be standing in one spot all fucking day, like with no real relief, it's like being in solitary confinement. It's like a mind fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This Walmart in general, just a little Walmart rant, you know. We still spend money at Walmart, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. It's like Amazon, you know what I'm saying? But we try to not have to, because it's just, it feeds into the bullshit. But yeah, you have to go there for some shit, and that's part of living in this fucking society that we're in, the capitalist shit. And Walmart for years was really good at like leading the way with this capitalist shit. And you know, it's cool to see them changing things and trying to be better. And I hope that continues, because yeah, it needs to continue, because they're still behind. And I feel like companies like Amazon and Walmart and all that should be paying a lot more than they are. I see some ads for Amazon. We pay our workers $15 an hour. That's it. They act like that's some huge thing. You know what I'm saying? It's,
yeah, to deal with idiots that walk through Walmart and say stupid stuff to you.
Or you paid that much. It's not. It's really not.
No. I'm getting paid right below that to do pretty much nothing. So it's like,
well, then that's good.
Yeah.
Good thing. But yeah, so just general hate for Walmart, even though we still got to spend money there, and that's just how it is. But let's after this crazy rant, let's jump into a little bit more here. Usually we would discuss first projects, influences for you. So talk about your first projects. What influenced you in those? We kind of mentioned Tech Nine and stuff like that. And then the process of that, making that project, was it something that was recorded at home? Did you go to someone else's place? Did you master it yourself? Blah, blah, blah. Just kind of give us some details on your first projects.
My first project was a song called Troubled. And as the name of it, you know, entitles, being a troubled kid, doing troubled shit, you got to kind of write about it. So I forget exactly what it was. I pretty much woke up one day and I was just bored out of my mind, had nothing else to do, was pissed, didn't feel like screaming at the top of my lungs, so I just wrote some shit down. Next day I looked back at it and I was like, that's actually not too bad. Fixed it up, you know, went around the rough edges, polished that shit. I say polished it, but back then, you know, my polishing was still, you know, throwing a quarter into a wood chipper, so not a fan of that. Right. So I mean, I recorded everything, I produced everything, or I say produce everything, but the instrumental found online, recorded it, mastered everything on Audacity.
Okay.
And I still have people telling me that that's their favorite track by me.
Really?
So yeah, coming from working with Audacity to not knowing anything about audio production to switching to Fruity Loop Studio and then, you know, amplifying the way that I work and my workflow on that is just immensely, it's grown way too much, because at first it was just record something one time. If I fucked up, I didn't care, put it out. Now it's record something, yell about it, go back and record something again, try it again, fuck up, come back to it again, record again, master it, get to the next part, fuck up again. You know, there's a whole cycle that it's just painful by the end of the day, but you know, I love it. It's just something that I do for myself. I don't do it for anybody else. I hate doing it for everybody else. Because I've had people ask me why I'm not putting out club bangers or something like that. It's like, I don't care about that. I want to write shit. I want to put shit out. If people like it, good. If you don't, fuck you or good. One of the two.
Yeah, no, there's no clubs in Northern Maine, just so you know.
Yeah.
So make club music. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like name club music that's in Northern Maine, man. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's no clubs. There's bars. You can make bar music, but it probably wouldn't be hip hop. Not around there, because it's few and far between, which is cool, because it makes you kind of unique in a way. Because there's not many people like you or me or whatever that are in the county. There are very few of us, but there are some. And the thing about it is, from what I've seen, I mean, I know you probably know Gypsy or
Yep.
Nate. You know Nate McKenzie, and I worked
Yep.
with him a lot of years ago. Fuck, you were probably still in high school, bro. We were working together.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
I think it was like 2012 or something like that. We were working 2011, 12, 13, whatever.
Oh, that's
We were
like
working
middle
together.
school for me, man.
So yeah, you were just young, and we were making music then, and I thought he was really dope, and he was like this undiscovered. Well, like not undiscovered because people knew him, but like I just felt like he was just really great. I'm like, wow, everything he did was really awesome, and the way that he could put together music without like having to really write it down was another thing that I really admire. People who can memorize their music and not have to like write it down, I really like that because I know how hard that is, and I can't do that. Like even if I make a song and like I fucking try my hardest to like remember everything, I still can't get like every word, and that's like a flaw within me, kind of like a thing. I remember all kinds of shit. Like I can remember phone numbers, email addresses, whatever. But it's like the music I become, when I listen to it, I'm like, it takes over my whole aura, you know what I'm saying? And I get like enveloped in it. And it's like, I'm just vibing with everything. And it's not just the words. I'm hearing the xylophone and the bass and like, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like missing words and I'm just like, I'm with it, you know? And I feel like,
feeling it.
Yeah, I feel like some people are really good at being able to do that, and I know how hard it is, so I respect him a lot for that. And when I saw him do that at that time, it was writing for me was something I only did like sometimes, and I was moving into that realm of like trying to put together a whole project after years of not doing it. And so I saw that and I was like, damn, I gotta get, and even the way he delivered stuff and the storytelling that he did, I was like, I gotta get more like that and less like what I was doing. And I kind of took parts from what Nate was doing and grew in a different way for myself, you know. And so it was awesome to do the work that I did with him. And it was so cool to see. It was so crazy, man. We had him over, like he would come over like every weekend and record for a bunch of months, like 6 months, 7 months. And then kind of like there was no more, you know what I'm saying? It was like 7 months, we did a lot of them. It's like it kind of fizzled out and it was like really just creatively like, ugh, you know. But yeah, I learned a lot from him, and it was very surprising to come up to the county and think like, when I first got up there, I'm like thinking I'm like the only person up here that even listens to fucking hip hop music, you know what I'm saying? And then to come across that guy who was at the time, he was like 10, 12 years older than me, and he was telling me about shit he was doing way before I got up there. Whether or not, you know, prior to the internet and being able to get on YouTube and all the social media and shit, he was just making music and had it on CD and shit like that. It was just
a CD that he gave me.
Yeah, it was just a great learning experience, and it was good that it came so unexpectedly. Like I just came across his, I think it was like maybe what was it, SoundClick or SoundCloud maybe, and I saw like he had 2 songs or something on there, and I was like, who the fuck is this? When I heard it, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And I get to look, and I found him, and I'm like, yo, you need to come make music at my fucking house. I just built the studio and shit. And then from there, I learned so much, and it actually shaped a lot of what, like I do even today. Like I try to stay, like he always told me, stay conscious and stay within yourself when you're making music. So like if you make music that's within your comfort zone and you make it about topics that you can speak about, like it's easy for you to talk about, then making the music comes easy. Don't try to be what you're not. It's basically what he's saying. And yeah, once I started doing that, I was able to write just so much easier. And when you pull from what you're actually experienced with, it makes it a lot easier. And so, yeah, that kind of clicked with me. And yeah, it's something I talk about a lot. People mention age and they're like, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm 37 now. And I feel like right now at 37, I'm actually kind of like the best I've ever been with music shit, like making beats and writing and recording. And it's just like, if you take away that stigma, because hip hop is always like a young person's thing, you know, kind of like you're hip or hip and hop, you know, it was like a young person's thing. But now it's like all those young people that were doing it, they're all like grown up now, but a lot of them are still doing it. You still got your Nas out there putting shit out. You still got Method Man dropping fire. You know what I'm saying? And like, so it definitely can be done. And I'm glad that kind of changed and the stigma's changed, because, and I mentioned this to Sean Daw, who was co-hosting the show last week. Sean Schneiderat, who was, he works at like the dispensary. And I came across him. I was like, he looking at me and he was like, yo, you're from around here? I was like, nah. He was like, I was like, yeah. He's like, I like your tattoos. I was like, yeah, I got them in Old Port, blah, blah, blah. And then we got to talking, like, oh, you're down there? He's like, I spent some time down there. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. Then I was like, oh, I make music and shit. So I've been like, oh, you make music? And it was like, this kid had always wanted to make music, right? But never actually like stepped forward. And I was like, I gave him the outlet. I was like, yo, I have a studio and I got beats. So he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. So then next thing you know, he's bought like a beat package off me. He's coming to record. And so what I told him is, he's like 27 or something. And I was just like, yo, everybody, like when I first started out, I was trash, you know what I'm saying? And you have to go through that process of writing and recording to know and to grow and be like, develop your sound and yourself. You can't just be like rapping at home over beats on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, and not actually putting it down and then trying to improve on that. And once he did that and understood the concept behind it, now you can see the progress and growth. Like every time I see him come to my place, like it's always better. And then I got to talking, man. He's like, I never really want to jump in because I'm 27 and I was unsure, like blah 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 blah. And I'm like, look, I've been doing this since 1999, right? It's 23 years I've been making music, and I can't even count on like one hand or even three fingers the amount of times that anybody even asked me how old I was, right? Making this music, nobody ever comes like, they're like, yo, I'm like, yeah, I'm Obese Prophet, I make beats. They're like, well, how old are you? What are you, 25, 26, 23? No one. I think maybe I've been asked once or twice like how old I was. So like it's not even a thing that people think about in their head. And I told him, just keep focused and you make the music and you learn as you're making it and you'll continue to grow if you don't limit yourself. You don't limit yourself by saying I'm too old to do this, or other people are better than me, because there'll always be someone who's fucking better than you no matter what. So what you've got to do is just keep doing it. If it's something you like to do, obviously don't force yourself into it, but yeah, if it makes you happy to do it, then you have to do it, because yeah, you live once. And like you mentioned earlier, you do the music for yourself. And that's something I always say too. Like, I'm not out here to make music for other people. Music for me is very therapeutic. So like I will say a lot of things like through my music that I may not say not through music, you know what I mean? So
like I'll say stuff on a song that I really shouldn't be saying in public,
right?
You know what I mean? It's like even if it's not out yet, that's one of those things where it's like, even if it's demented shit, like still write it down, because at that point it's one of those things where if you don't need to release that onto somebody else, at least you have it written down in your notepad and you got that off your mind. So that's what I was doing. It was more or less just an anger relief. Like the amount of times where I probably would have gone to jail or fucking prison for just even thinking of the shit that I wanted to do instead of just writing it down.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's too much, man. Sometimes you just gotta release yourself onto that paper.
Yeah, you have to. And yeah, man, paper. You used to writing on paper?
Yeah, every now and then. I write most of my stuff on my phone, but if I have it next to me and I'm like, my phone's dead or whatever, yeah, paper.
Yeah. The thing about paper, the thing about phones that I like so much these days, and being that I've just recorded so many people over the years, including myself, is sometimes with the paper, people hold that shit up to the mic and you can hear it if they got to flip a page or it crinkles and shit. And that was something I always hated, because sometimes we would get a great fucking take, but there's a crinkle in there. And I'm like, I'm trying to get it out, but it's like too much. And I'm like, we got to redo it, you know? And then you run the risk of hearing the crinkle again. So something that kind of has been cool about the phones, and that at first you're like, oh, you got your raps on a phone, you know, back in like 2008, 9, 10, like people were like, what are you putting fucking shit on a phone, bro? I got my notebook, bro. You know, and now it's like, you got a notebook, dude? I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, so it's crazy, but yeah. I feel like now I can type faster than I can write, and I can actually read it. So like it's a lot easier for me to do that. And you said on the phone, but what I use is Google Drive. So sometimes I'll type it out on the computer and then pull it up on the phone, because I can type way faster on the computer, you know? So it's kind of helped in a way. And then resources online like Rhyme Zone and DoubleRhyme.com and the Thesaurus, and just learning more words like to explain your shit. Because I feel like if you get redundant on your words and so you're always trying to like using the same words, you know what I mean? It can be like whatever. I've always
that's what I do when I freestyle. When I'm freestyling, you're gonna hear me say the same thing like 6 times, but I'm trying to like think of the next stuff to bring it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, freestyling, not something I ever did. One time back in the day, I mean, I freestyle a little bit, but never really any good at it. Too fucking high most of the time. You know what I mean? But like, just like, I would stumble over shit and just be like, whatever. But I heard someone say back in the day, I think it was this kid. It was actually Ryan Page, and Justin, you know Ryan Page. He fucking told me one time. Someone asked him, "Yo, you want to freestyle, bro, for us?" And he's like, "Bro, I don't do shit for free." You know what I mean? He was like, "You're gonna fucking pay me if I'm doing anything." And they're like, "Whoa, bro! Like, I just wanted you to drop a freestyle." And he's like, "Ain't shit for free." And then ever since then, I think, you know what? He's right. You know, don't give him that free shit. Make him pay for it. And but no, the thing about him is he's a really great freestyler, and that's why someone was asking him, like, he could freestyle any fucking thing, but apparently that day he wasn't feeling it. And I just thought that it was like the funniest thing coming from him, because literally at the drop of a dime, any other time he would just drop he'd freestyle like all day, just rapping shit, you know. And coming from him, and then asking him afterwards, like, why the fuck didn't you just drop a freestyle? I said, well, if you always give in to everybody's fucking demands, then who's in control, bro?
Right.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying? If they're like, drop a freestyle, and you're like, yeah, bro, I got it, and just drop a freestyle, then that's what they expect of you every time they see you. And he said, I want them to see me as a person and not a freestyle.
Yep.
And I was like,
100%.
yeah, you're
Well,
right.
I also think, like,
100%.
in order to freestyle, you got to be in a certain mindset, and it's not like on command, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That
It-
for him,
it-
he was really good at it. And so, and matter of fact, when he makes music now, it's kind of like what he does still. Like when he's he'll just like freestyle like 8 bars or something, and be like, all right, and then bring it back and like do another 8 bars, and it works for him. But to try to get him to sit down and like collaborate and write, it's not that. He's not gonna write. That's the thing. He's gonna come up with it like a Lil Wayne or like a Nate McKenzie. You know, like they just put it in their
Like-
fucking head. And for some reason, he's one of those people who can memorize the shit.
It's like
And
Bizarre from D12.
Bizarre from
Bizarre. You think
That's-
about that. You
that's
can't tell
crazy.
me he wrote any of that.
No.
Anything that he ever has on a song. He didn't write any of that. He says random shit. I got a verse from him that I'm gonna be hopping on for, a song with, right?
Yeah.
And it's called New Neighbor, and it's literally about him stalking his new neighbor named Annie.
Oh my god! So what? Did you get
Like-
this verse? How'd you get this verse?
A buddy of mine knows Bizarre's manager or some shit like that.
Okay, I was gonna say
And-
I did a music video for a kid named XL, who's from Salem, and he did a song with Bizarre. Ted Bizarre on a verse on a
Oh,
song
shit.
he did too, and we were talking. And his style, like the two of them together, you would never. It was like something. What the fuck? You did a song with Bizarre, bro? He's like,
Yeah.
and it was like, like you said, some crazy ass shit that was just way like it wasn't even sticking to topics. It was like it was just all over the place, and that's just like what, like you said, like it's what he does. And I feel like you're right. I feel like he doesn't, and he's not even good at. He's not like some extremely awesome MC.
It's
but
just
he
the
is
name.
he is fucking hilarious though. He'll say some shit
Yeah.
that you'd be like, what the fuck? Talking
New
about
neighbor
like
just
fucking,
walked in.
fucking cats and shit like that. He was talking about fucking cats, and like I heard all kinds of weird shit he'd be talking about.
Had
And
to
that's like-
pay $800 to give my Rottweiler an abortion or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That line always kills me.
And, yeah, but he's just that's him. He's like, what is that called? Like shock
horrorcore.
rap or something like that. Like shock something.
Yeah, horrorcore.
Yeah, horrorcore. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, he'll work with everybody, and that's a good thing
Yeah.
about Bizarre is he doesn't give a fuck. He'll be like, you can hit him up and get verses and all
Mhm.
day. And I like that availability about how some artists are like that. Another one that's like that is like Young Dirty Bastard. YDB.
Oh yeah.
He'll work with everybody too. Like, but the thing about his working is it takes him a long time to get something down, you know?
I feel.
He's one of those people who's like, you tell him to do something. 'Cause I had sent off some beats in 2020, the beginning of 2020, because of the pandemic, sent YDB some beats. He's like, yo, I like some of these beats and I'm going to fucking make songs with them. I was like, a year and a half goes by. I hit him up on Instagram. Yo, what's up with this song? I'm still working on it. Yeah, real talk.
Yeah,
Still working on
when
it.
he puts it out, he wants to make sure it's good.
Yeah, and that's
It's one
what
of those
and I see when he posts stuff on Instagram. Sometimes he's like working on a new song, and you'll hear it, and you can tell it's just totally not even close to being finished. But you hear the potential there. And the thing about YDB, and I say this I've said this a few times actually about YDB, is I think sometimes he tries a little bit too hard to be like ODB, and I think that's like a product of how, since from a young age, he's been dragged into that Wu-Tang culture and brought on tour to like replace his dad.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like they bring him out on tour and they have him do the ODB parts of the songs, and he feels like he's kind of embodied that. He didn't even do the same hairstyle and all that, you know. And I feel like he would be so great if he just kind of individualized himself a little bit and kind of made a distinction between that. And obviously, I'm not going to be like, yo, you need to not be like your dad, because who the fuck's going to say that? But yeah, I just feel like his music could be really fucking dope because he has that really unique voice. It's not as raspy as like ODB's was, but he has that really unique. How do we like crescendo like vocals, like up and down with the you know what I'm saying? How ODB kind of, you know, he does that, but I feel like he does it like too much trying to be like him. Yeah. And I want to hear, I just want to hear YDB's like original voice, like his real voice. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that could be a real beneficial thing for him. But shout out to YDB and Bizarre and anybody out there that's been a veteran in this game or has ties to this game that's not opposed to just working with people. And yeah, I mean, it costs money. It's going to cost you money to get things done, but it's going to cost anybody money. So like, even if a major artist like was like, I need Bizarre, I'm just not going to do it for free. No. So that's what you got to pay for. Yeah, no, you got to make money on things. And I say that to not, I mean, even if you're not Bizarre, like you, like if you're throwing verses on stuff for people and you feel like you should be getting paid for that, you need to reach out and tell them that. And you say, hey, look, 100% that verse, because it takes your time. Now, granted, if you want to work with somebody, you want to do some collabs, like that's all great. You don't have to charge everybody. You don't have to do that. But on the same token, you should charge people occasionally for your work, whether it's production or verses.
Yeah, I have. There's a couple songs out there that are fucking trash that people wanted me to be on, and I was like, yeah, throw me $50, you know, just like,
right,
I'll write some trash verse to go with the trash song and just make it still better.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you got to pick and choose your battles when it comes to that, but you can't just always be doing shit for free, because and then people kind of expect that. Happened to me early on in my career of doing shit. I would just do everything for everybody. It'd be like, oh, you need beats, blah blah blah, just hand them out, and it ended up being like convoluted and like, you know, so and so would have a beat, or like I handed out so many beats that people would start recording. They'd be recording on the same beats, you know. It'd be like, oh, I already gave that beat to this motherfucker. I already did a song to it. Well, you know, that's why I've become way more organized over the years, because that was a huge fucking thing. Everybody was rapping on my fucking, and then it was like, well, he rapped on that and he rapped on that, and so did he. I was like, maybe we should just put them together. You know, because back then it was just handing out a CD, and then that CD would go to somebody else's house, and next thing you know, they're ripping it on the computer, and next thing you know, I'm hearing songs people are doing on my fucking beats, and I never even met them before. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Yeah. And I have to contact them, like, where'd you get this beat? And believe it or not, there was a guy in South Portland. His name was MJ Lane. He used to run a little studio at his house, and it was a nice studio, bro, because his parents had money and they bought him everything. He had like one of those expensive booths that is like prefab, you know what I'm saying? Like it comes in parts and you build it right in your room and shit, and it was like all soundproof with a door, window, everything. He had a fucking MPC. He had, top of the line shit. And the fucked up thing is he didn't even know how to use the MPC, bro. He just had it. It was like one time I showed up over there and he had that MPC, and I just started using it. I had it was a 2500, and I just had it had like the fuck was it, like an external hard drive hookup thing to it. I just stuck my external hard drive on it, brought some sounds in, and started making beats. And he wasn't even in the studio. I'm starting making beats. He comes in, he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm making beats on this fucking MPC. That's what you have it for, right?" And he's like, I'll show you how to use that. I'm like, bro, I already had the shit sequenced out. Just hit play. Shit started playing. I wasn't even touching any pads. He's like, how the fuck did you do that? I was like, because I know how to use this fucking thing. And he's like, wow, can you show me how to do that? And I'm like, bro, I'm fucking homeless, bro. Literally. I'm like living couch to couch. And you're in a fucking house. You rent a house that has this studio and fucking 4 bedrooms, dude, right? But you don't know how to use any of this shit. And then come to find out, I stopped kind of fucking with him, and I found out that he was like, he wanted to be a producer, but wasn't really a producer, right? So I stopped fucking with him, like, stopped going over there. Ryan Page used to live with MJ, actually, and he would make a lot of music over there. And they had some of the same friends. Well, a couple years goes by, and somebody that I knew who I would have never sold my beats to because and rest in peace, John Blotti, because he passed away a few years back. But he was making this album, and he hit me up and was like, "Yo, I've been recording with MJ, and I want you to hear some of the shit that I did," because he respected my opinion, because this kid had seen me as a homeless person bouncing from couch to couch with my MPC 2000 in its case. I would go everywhere with it. I'd pull up in someone's living room and plug it in and put my headphones on and just be making beats. And he was one of the people who saw me doing that. So he respected it. He thought it would be cool. So he sends me this shit to my email. And it's like, yeah, I made this at MJ's, and it was my beat, right? So I said, oh, that's a nice beat, bro. And he's like, yeah, MJ made it. And I said, oh, for real? And he's like, yeah. He's like, he charged me $100 for it. And so I was like, oh, for real? Okay. So I like, yo, let me show you something real quick. And I pulled out my my phone, which had all my beats in my Google Drive. And I start scrolling through, and I go back to like, because I have like every beat, like I can go back to like 2008 and pull up beats. Well, I don't have every beat, but a lot of my beats I have, because some I did lose over the years from being homeless and making beats here or there. But a lot of them I can go back, and I happen to have this fucking particular beat because it was a good one. And I pull it up and I go right to the fucking year, and I have the date it was made and modified right on it. And I click on it, and I say, this is the beat, right? We're listening to it. Yeah, that's sure as shit the beat. I said, well, he sold you my beat. He took money out of my pocket and sold you a beat that I made. And man, was he angry. Man, was he angry.
I'd be fucking pissed too.
He offered to pay me and everything. He was like, oh my God, bro, like can I just give you the money for it? And I was like, bro, you already paid for the beat. You know? It's not your money to give me. You know, it's like it's not your problem at this point, because you had no idea. And back then, I wasn't using beat tags. So like all my beats would have a tag on it, so like you couldn't tell. Now all my beats have the tags on it, you know, which I think is important. But you can still get around tags and shit like that. But a beat is a beat. If people know it better, they get digital timestamps within your music. You can always pull up that information, and it's like this beat was made 3 years before he even sold it to him.
Yeah.
So it was easy to pull it up and say, hey, look, this is my beat. And so I want to mention that, you know, as a producer out there, you have to be really careful with what you do. And back in the day, it has tightened up more. But back in the day, it was like a free-for-all. It was like CDs was the way to do it. And you'd hand out a CD, and you never know where that CD is going to end up. I tell people, don't fuck it up. But it still will, because the motherfuckers take it and they put it in somebody's car, and they're riding around. They get out, they leave it. Next thing you know, they got beat CD, you know? Yeah. So I had to stop doing that. And now it's not really an issue like it used to be. But man, it was like the Wild West in the early 2000s, especially trying to come up and just get my beats to like as many people as I could. Like now I finally reined that in. And I like to say that because it is important to keep track of your shit and be organized as you go along. Because like I lost a lot of shit I thought was important, not just beats, but other things too. Whether it was recorded at some studio I had no control over, and I never got the stems, or I never got a real version of a song I was on. And it's like, as I get older, I wish I had that shit. So if you're starting out, especially you, man, you got to make sure you keep your shit organized. Now, how organized are you? You keep your shit like, you keep all your fucking stems, you keep all your shit well organized.
Oh, yeah. I keep everything. I got a Dropbox for the stems and instrumentals and whatnot. Yep. But when it comes to redundancy, I got my main drive on my computer. You got the SSD that holds everything else that I bring with me. If I go to a buddy's house, I'll bring that with me. We can make beats there or make a song there, do whatever. And then I got my my NAS drive, so it's a little server that I have downstairs where I can send anything that I want to it, like 22 terabytes. So it's like I don't have to worry about shit for that for a while. And that backs up itself. So just in case, you know what I mean? I have redundancy on redundancy.
That's good, man. That's always good to have because I'm the same way now. Like I said, I got externals on externals, and I always do backup, especially because I do a lot of video and photo shit too. So, I'm always seeing like, damn, I gotta get some more terabytes to cover the fucking drone videos I just took, you know. And it's like, bro, drone videos, 4K videos, it should take up a lot of space.
They take a lot of space. A lot of fucking space.
Yeah, and more shit I do, and the more and more shit I do, the funner and funner it becomes, and the more I want to do. And it's like I feel like soon I will have to be like, you got that 22 terabyte. That's crazy. I was thinking about getting a 10, and I thought that would be a lot. But I already have like a terabyte in my desktop and a 5 that's connected to it, and that's like pretty much full. And then I got another 5 that I travel with for pictures and shit. And I'm feeling like that's still it's gonna run out pretty soon. So storage is a huge thing. Another thing too they mentioned is that you storage online too, like the cloud storage, like that's beginning to be harder and harder to come by too. You know, people back in the day we could go on websites like SendSpace and all those other, and you could just, it was no limit, like you could like just throw a fucking thing up in, because nobody was having 3 gig files or 4 gig files to send. Now it's like if I try to send one video to somebody, it's like 3 gigs. You know, and it's like I can't send it through email. You send it through Drive, it takes up all your space, and it's like I feel like, and I've read articles, and we've talked about this before, I think on the show, that the storage space in the world is not infinite. It's finite. You know what I'm saying? Like we potentially will run out of space for storage at some time in the future if the problem isn't really addressed. And I thought that was crazy. Because 20 years ago, you're not thinking of that. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, what happens then? You know what I'm saying? What happens when we run out of cloud space? What happens when we run out of this? Like, are we going to purge the system? Are we going to have to, downgrade all of our, downgrade our qualities to make shit fit? Like, how's it all going to work? And it's like, yeah, they can keep making hard drives. That's one thing they can keep doing. But you know how many people use, like you said, you use Dropbox, that's cloud storage. You use I use Google Drive, that's cloud storage. And yeah, you can buy, and I pay for, I don't know what I pay for. It's like $50 a year or something like that. I pay for like
Google Drive.
Yeah, for my Google Drive. And I have a bunch of Google Drives because of all the emails I created. I have like fucking 5 different emails, you know what I'm saying? But the main one I use, I pay for that. And that's crazy. And another thing that I fucking can't stand is how everybody used to be able to buy a program back in the day to work with, right? You could just buy it and then you own it. And now they want to charge you for it yearly or monthly, and you don't own
Photoshop.
Yeah, Photoshop. But I have Photoshop CS3. I've had it forever, and I don't think I'll ever get rid of it because I own it, and it does a lot of the same shit the new one does. Like, why would I change it? But there are things that I've thought about seriously, like, damn, I wish I could just get that, but I don't want to pay monthly or yearly, and then you don't pay and you lose it. It was like, I use this VST Arcade by Output. I don't know if you heard of it. You can kind of chop up samples in it and shit and play them like instruments and all that other shit. It's a pretty dope VST, but you pay for it monthly, you know? And the thing about it, though, that's pretty cool is anything you make with it, you're able to still access and use. But if you stop paying for it, you can't make any new things, which is kind of cool. But it's such an awesome VST that it almost is like a drug. It's like you gotta have it. Like if you stop using it for like a couple months, and I'm like missing it. I go in to make a beat, and I'm like, I'm stagnant. Like, I wish I had Arcade right now. And then I end up getting it again. I'm like, fuck, I'm paying for this shit again. And granted, it's not much. I think it's like $10 a month or whatever it is. And it's so worth it when I'm selling beats. You know what I'm saying? Like when I sell a few beats, it pays for it. But then the stagnant times come and I'm not selling any beats. It's like, it makes it hard to get it. But
yeah, that's like Isotope with me, man. Isotope, I use that shit to master pretty much fucking everything. Ozone, Nectar, everything. If I don't have that, I'm screwed. And I got to pay, I think it's $30 a month for that.
Oh my god, that's great. And back in the day, you could get Isotope. The Isotope suite would be like packaged with your fucking your interfaces and shit like that, and you would just have that forever. And you know, you can fish out old versions of that and try to use it with cracked version, whatever you might do. But again, they do have some dope features on the new stuff that you wouldn't be able to use on the old stuff. But and I really just hate that whole vibe of charging people monthly, because think about this. A lot of times artists are fucking struggling, right? They're struggling artists. So like, why the fuck did they decide, and who made that choice? Because someone had to do it first, right? I want to know, like, who was the first person to say, all right, we're going to start charging monthly for these motherfuckers. And then everybody's like, hey, that's a great idea. We're going to start doing that too. And then it just became a thing.
But everybody does. Think about it. Like, the economy has become that. Subscriptions. Yeah. You're getting a set amount of money from every single user every single month. You have that bottom line. And there is no more, product. You sell it one time. No. We're gonna charge you every single month for that product now.
That's a definite marketing move. Yeah, that someone just like said. Yeah, that's how we
consider that like a plastic fork. You can buy 1,000 plastic forks and continuously use them and throw them out. But you buy a metal one, you don't have to throw it out. You just wash it, reuse it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So why pay a monthly subscription when you could just buy that plastic fork or that metal fork?
Well, that's American capitalism for you. So.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is. Capitalism.
Why buy one when you could buy it every single month?
Oh my god, yeah, that's so true, dude. It's just
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man. A lot of things are fucked up with the way things are going, but try to stay positive with shit, and it kind of helps. But then again, you can kind of live in like this fantasy world if you're always being positive and you never ever accept any of the negative. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to once in a while be like, accepting of the negative and figure out how you're going to deal with it, and not just push it off to positivity. Which I like being positive about shit. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's not for every situation. You have to take some of that negative and feel it and be like, okay, well, it's negative, but how can we? I think the thing about it is, how can you change it? How can you do something to affect the change? And it's getting harder and harder with the way that shit being presented to us. You know what I'm saying? They want to take away your voting rights. They want to not have people protesting and shit like that. And it's like, these are the things that got us kind of the rights and the small things we have. Like, they just want to get rid of unions, and I know that Justin, you're a big proponent of having unions and stuff like that. So obviously unions. I think everybody who works should be in a fucking union. You know what I'm saying? Because they take all of that, the stress of like, all right, I'm going to get a job, and I don't really think I like the pay, but I like the job, and it's like they go in there and be like, look, here you go, this is what you're going to get, and you're like, all right, cool, and it takes a lot of that guesswork out, and it's worth it, part of a union if you can do it. And I think unions should be offered at every type of job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every type of job you have, whatever industry it may be, there should be unions for it.
So let me tell you this. Like, the reason I got into unions is because in college there was a history class, but it was from the perspective of American laborers and how important. Is food here? Is your food here?
Nah, I didn't even order my food yet. That was just somebody calling. They were like, I was like, hey, and they were like, huh? And I just said, no, that's not the right number, I guess, and they hung up.
So anyways, so labor unions was the focus of this like history class, and it looked back from the Civil War Reconstruction era to present day. So if you don't think unions are important, then
Hello?
who is this motherfucker calling you?
Hello? Hello? Pablo?
Come to
Pablo,
Florida.
honey? Pablo? Can you come to Florida? Is this Chad?
Nope, and we're looking for Pablo.
Oh, shit.
I think it's the front desk calling for his food. He went down to get his food. They were like asking for him. It was like probably the front desk guy. He's like, whoa, he didn't know like there's a woman in there. Pablo. All right, keep going.
Well, I've lost my fucking train of thought now.
You're talking about unions.
Union history. Unions. History of the unions.
Yep. Talk about
it. So if you don't think unions are important, just look back at even just recent American history. If you let corporations decide what is going to happen, they're going to side with the money and their best interest, not what their employees need or want, not what the general public needs or wants. It's going to be what's in the best interest of the company.
Obviously.
And Upton Sinclair wrote a book called The Jungle. It's about the meat packaging industry way back in like the early 1900s or so. And the conditions and shit that were happening is basically what gave rise to unions. So,
yeah,
check it out. Upton Sinclair's The Jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that sounds familiar.
unions are definitely, and like you said, that the company is only looking out for themselves and
Yep.
how they can boost profits. And you'll come across some companies sometimes that take, pride in helping their employees be financially stable and blah blah blah. Those are few and far between, and usually they're involved with unions as well. You know what I'm saying? Like they're open to, if you're in a union, cool. If you're not, well, we're still going to respect you and pay you. And I like the idea of profit sharing and things like that to help people. Like I watched this video this past week on a fucking pizza company, I think in like Louisiana or something, where they do profit sharing with their employees. And one guy's been there like 20 years, came right out of high school, and now he could fucking retire with like $1 million, bro. And he literally works at a pizza place. He could pull his money out and be a millionaire. He currently would be a millionaire with the money that's been invested with the company back into him with profit sharing. And I think that's a huge fucking way to get people, to work for you, because
Yeah.
if you share the profit. I mean, that's a great, even if it's a small percentage, especially these companies make so much money, you can't even fathom sometimes. You think, oh, I'm gonna get 0.0333%, bro, but then you end up with $1 million. And you're like, what the fuck?
Right. I mean,
Yeah, 100%,
if you're looking at like union stuff, like Amazon has been shutting down unionized bids over, in a couple different places. I think New York's trying to do. There's a place in New York, an Amazon distribution center in New York, that was talking about getting a union together, but they shut that shit down. And I think it was Alabama or Mississippi, somewhere in the South. They shut that shit down.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't want that, because people together, like a union, that's scary to them, because that's power.
Yeah.
Power shifts from
Power in the masses.
Yeah, it shifts from
Unity.
the CEO to the actual workers that are
Mhm.
doing the work, that are making the money for this
Yeah.
CEO. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I'll get off my soapbox.
All right, so look, we always talk about aliens, Bigfoot, ghost phenomena, right? So, like, if you had to pick something of these strange topics or whatever, what would be your favorite? You think something that'd be real easy to talk about, something that you were actually really interested in of these unexplained phenomenon, whatever it may be. Aliens.
Aliens all the way.
So how do you explain aliens now? Do you think that aliens have come from some other galaxy, planet, system, or
I don't
whatever?
think I don't think that they've been here once.
No.
I can't say that they've been here, but with probability and the amount of stars and galaxies that we have, and the size of the universe, if we are in that Goldilocks zone of our solar system, my man, there has to be another one. There's no way. I don't care if it's at the other side. If it's fucking possible, and if it's there, it's there. It doesn't mean that they've been here. I don't think that they've been here. Granted, I've seen some wild shit in the skies, but satellites, fucking rockets, drones, who knows? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I'm always kind of like looking, and always have kind of looked, and I've never really saw anything definitive of myself. Now, I don't discredit people who say they have or anything like that, because I want to believe, but I'm also very firm on I like to see evidence of shit before I can say for sure. Like I can say, I think Bigfoot or aliens and ghosts is great topic for conversation, and just to kind of think about things in a different way. But again, I haven't been 100% convinced. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's kind of hard to really buy into it, and like it is something that I'm so interested in but I'm not sold on it. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
I'm
hard
not,
to discredit it though, because
No, it is.
Explain some of this freaky shit that happens in the world.
Yeah.
And
I like to explain it with that multiverse thing. We always talk about that, like kind of like different pages and shit, and things can kind of flip between the different dimensions, and maybe that can explain a lot of ghosts, aliens, whatever, are living in different planes, and how we're only able to see and hear, or we only have a certain amount of senses, and we can only see certain light and whatever else. Things could exist that they could be around us all the time. We just can't see that. And I kind of believe in that, because science in a way has kind of explained that now. Even coming into 2020, they were explaining how multiverse worked, and that it was theoretically possible to have that happen. Just like it's theoretically possible, and actually almost, I think they were saying a guarantee at this point, that we're living in a simulation, which blows my fucking mind. But the more and more we learn about that, the more and more I get interested in that topic. And I say, aliens, Bigfoot, ghosts, whatever, as like a generalization. But what I'm really saying is this unexplained phenomenon is in a whole
overall.
Yeah, like
Perception
everything.
of reality.
Yeah, your whole perception of everything can be even just from person to person. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could see things way differently than you do and not even realize that they're seeing things differently than anybody. Which
Like
is
my
crazy.
green compared to your green is probably
Right.
something completely different. Water probably feels different. Like
Everything is
everything's different.
subjective. Yeah.
You got people that are born without like
reality.
the sense of touch in their hands. So
Mhm.
they live the world something completely different. You got people who are born blind, they live the world completely different. So
Yep, it's all like your perception is all based on individualism. So like everybody is different, and it plays a philosophy and your education and how you were raised and whatever you've gone through. It all plays a part in it. And but for me, I try to follow science as much as I can. As cool as it is to think, the science fiction stuff could be real as far as aliens. And another thing that I thought, another theory about the aliens was someone had mentioned, I think I saw it on, what was it on? I don't think it was like a mainstream show. I think it was probably on some YouTube thing I watched about, someone said that aliens were actually time traveling humans from the future. So they're saying, okay, we 1,000 years or 500 years, and we have changed because of how the planet is. The planet was, burning up, so our bodies got smaller, and we our whole thing changed. And so like this guy was explaining it in that way, and it really got me thinking, like, okay. And then the whole theory was like, if time travel is ever possible, right? Even if it's 1,000 years from now, right?
we would have it right now.
Then it's happening right now.
Yeah, we would have it right now.
In the future,
if time travel,
when they can do it, then we've done it. That's what they're basically saying. And so he said the aliens be the same thing. Maybe the aliens are coming back try to warn us about where the fuck we're going, even though we kind of already know. We're going to push it under the rug. And they're coming back to this time to either gather stuff to try to fix it, gather information on, this time period, because they're 1,000 years, and it's hard to say. Like, even we study things from 1,000 years ago, and we can read in a book all we want. But if you can go to the real thing, it's almost like a real life history lesson, in a way. And I feel like that's a great theory. It really stood out in my head, but that theory doesn't explain all the other shit, like the Bigfoots and the ghosts and shit. And then to me, I fall back on the multidimensional thing, because that could explain pretty much all of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you could just throw that all under that umbrella as Bigfoots from another dimension, aliens from another dimension, ghosts from another dimension. And we're all just real close. And sometimes it weaves in between the two things. You know what I'm saying? And we see it here, and it goes away. That's why, if you ever, orbs are a big thing. Like if you ever do, look at alien shit, you see a lot of orbs involved. Ghosts, you see a lot of orbs involved. Even Bigfoot. I've been watching a lot of Bigfoot shows this past year when they had that Expedition Bigfoot show, and a lot of that was they were seeing orbs at the same time they'd be seeing Bigfoots. I think they kind of connected in a way. You know what I'm saying? But to me, that we're the aliens story, like we're from the future, that's the most visceral story. That's the one that's like the scariest. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, wait, we're the fucking aliens? Now it's a mind fuck, dude.
I've had that thought process a while back, and it's one of those things when you try to wrap your head around it, it kind of hurts.
Yeah.
It's like the whole simulation, like you're living in a simulation, you try to tell yourself, like, think about it right now, why is my conscious here?
Yeah.
And then you really start to think about it, and your brain glitches out for a second. You just go back to normal life after. But like,
I know, right?
That's one of those things where if you really start to think about it, it starts to fuck with you. That's why you got some people that act crazy and they talk about this, but they might be right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does make sense when you start thinking about it like that.
They've been out of the Matrix and they know the real story.
Yeah, and if we're living in a simulation, right? 1,000 years in the future, we're living in a simulation. We see these aliens that they're coming back, but they're just like fixing shit. They're like, oh fuck, we gotta go into the simulation and we gotta do this. Let's get the fuck out. Yeah. Or whatever they might do. Or they might come down and they grab people and they do experiments on people. Well, that's just to see where they're at in the simulation. You know what I'm saying? Or fix their character or some shit. It's just, you think about it now as everything's coming into view, the metaverse and VR, and you can sit courtside a fucking NBA game and not even be there and shit. Just like everything is kind of going in that direction. If Grand Theft Auto, yeah, exactly. If Grand Theft Auto was like still a game in 1,000 years, can you imagine how crazy it would be?
Dude, like it's insane. You don't even need controllers for that fucking thing. You can use your hands.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
Like when you're playing a game and you don't have to use a controller and you just go to grab something and you start to think about it and you go to throw it and you punch your wall. That's
I know.
it's a little embarrassing for yourself.
I'm assuming you guys have seen the movie Inception, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
How many levels deep can we get in the simulation then?
That's
You know, if we're creating simulation machines in a simulation, is that only 2 levels, or are we even deeper than that and we don't know it?
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. The Inception movie really gets you fucking thinking, though. You know,
it's a good one.
That's wild, dude. But yeah, man, let's
We'll play some music.
Yeah, let's play some music. That's what I was gonna say. We'll play some music right now. Private chat. Let me pull it up and share this stuff. What do we got? Let's start at the top here.
Also, it's a bit late. You want to do the smoke break now while we get this?
Yeah. We can say this is a smoke break. So if anybody out there watching, you know, this is the time to break it out. I'm in Indianapolis, so they don't allow weed here, so they suck. But brought to you by Firearm 4 down 367 4th Street in the Old Port, Portland, Maine. They're recreational now, so go check them out if you get a chance. For some fire weed and shit like that. So shout out Firearm 4. Now let's get into some music from Bouley here. I'm going to open this in a new tab and try to share it. This one, I think, is called I've Been. So in the meantime, if you just want to set this song up for us, give us a little background on it.
Yeah, sure, man.
Play it.
I was down in Holton at my buddy Opie's place. David, if you guys might know him, OPD.
Yep.
Guy's really good at what he does. He's been producing his own stuff for the past like 4 or 5 years now. He's on the ball with it, man. He knows what he's doing with it. I stepped in the studio and I heard the song that he was playing, and I immediately had to hop onto it. It's one of those where once I heard it, I was like, I love this shit. I love this. It's a mix of mainstream modern shit and a little bit of other stuff too. So
nice. Yeah, I remember this song too. So I've heard this one before. But yeah, let's jump into it. This is I've Been with it's OPD featuring Bouley, produced by Tundra Beats. So shout out to producers. Always got to give them some love. But yeah, let's jump into it.
Well, I've been a little bit drunk for the last few days now. I've been a little fucked up since I lost my way. Now I've been on a warpath trying to heal myself with my friends, but we never get help cause the world's in hell. Now I've been a little bit drunk for the last few days. Now I've been a little fucked up since I lost my way. Now I've been on a warpath trying to heal myself with my friends, but we never get help cause the world's in hell. Never know when is my last day. No F's giving loose L's in the ashtray. Ma says I've been living in a bad way. I just wanna raise a little hell, never cast hate. Take steps, fall back and I'm gone now. Big things I don't want and I'm lost now. These beasts poke back when I call out. These problems that I have in a small town. Ask me, Dave, when you write, does your pain just fade? They ask me how you write lines when your brain's so stained. These past days have it balled up, now I'm stuck in court, but I have faith. I don't need pain just to prove my point. Well, I've been a little bit drunk for the last few days. Now I've been a little fucked up since I lost my way. Now I've been on a warpath trying to heal myself with my friends. Never get help cause the world's in hell. Now I've been a little bit drunk for the last few days. Now I've been a little fucked up since I lost my way. Now I've been on a warpath trying to heal myself with my friends. Never get help cause the world's in hell.
Break bones just to break hearts, I don't wanna fake love with a great start thinking I'ma take one. I won't take part in something that I never wanted. Why the fuck is everybody running? Pick the litter, could've been a sinner, cook a killer in the winter. Now that I'm a winner, you just go gorilla. Wait a fucking second, did I miss a message? Tabletop for tennis, you been tripping like you buzzing at the dentist. Bust down with broken glass under the next one, she bad and got a fat ass. Skip town with blunts, and then I think I'm gonna give another reason just for you to be me mad. 2 pills a pop, I got 4 bottles. People asking where the fuck is self-esteem at. I ain't never had one, I don't need no gun just for me to kill myself in a ski mask.
I've been a little bit drunk for the last few days now. I've been a little fucked up since I lost my way. Now I've been on a warpath trying to heal myself with my friends. Never get help cause the world's in down. Now I've been a little bit drunk for the last few days. Now I've been a little fucked up since I lost my way. Now I've been on a warpath trying to heal myself with my friends. Never get help cause the world's in hell. A little bit drunk for the last few days now. Oh no. A little bit drunk for the...
Yeah, so who's like singing on that like hook? Is that OPD?
That was Opie.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
Opie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I like the whole vibe of that. It's like that beat too is like it's got that guitar with the pitched vocals in it. I love any fucking beat that you can put some pitched vocals in. It's one of those newer style like type of things to do, but it's actually really fucking dope, especially when it's done right, mixed with different.
He made it sound good.
Yeah, it does. It sounds good, and the singing goes right along with it. Like it's in key. The auto tune was done tastefully. You know what I'm saying? It went with everything. It wasn't like crazy, like all over the place, like some people's fucking auto tune can be. So yeah, I mean, I was feeling that, man. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I could definitely hear the influence of Tech Nine on that verse too.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah,
how
that one was
flow.
yeah.
Sounds very similar to Tech Nine, but yeah, that seems like something you would hear, just chilling on the radio or something.
Oh yeah, definitely has
That's
that
dope,
vibe.
actually. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's got a radio vibe for real. I was hearing that too. Trying to process everything in there to try to put together some words, and yeah, it definitely had that vibe though. I liked it. It's hard to say what it sounds like listening on the laptop speakers, but it sounded pretty good on what I had here. So I don't know on your end, but everything sounded good. Was it you who put that together, like mixing and mastering? Was that him? Both of you?
That was all him. Yeah, that's all him. Anything that usually has him as like the main artist, it's mostly him.
Yeah. So he pretty much is like what you do. He does all the same shit you do, just from where he's at. He's down. Yeah. Is he down in Holton? Is that where he's at?
Yeah, he's down in Holton.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, shout out to him, man. I'm try to get him on the show here at some point this summer, but I'm kind of booked to July. So you put me in contact with him. I'm not sure if I got him on, if he has an Instagram or not. I might.
Yeah, if you look up Mischief Isn't Me.
I think I do have him. I might hit him up and just be like, you want to be on the show? Because it would be cool to have his perspective on things too, since you guys work together a lot on a lot of stuff too. So it would be pretty cool to have him on. Shout out to OPD and yeah, when you guys collab, it always tends to sound pretty dope. So don't stop.
I've had a lot of people tell us that like it's completely different voices, but they don't clash. And that's what I fuck with. Like,
yeah, you guys should just start like a duo, not like permanent. Like
we've been thinking about it.
Duo. Like maybe you guys should do like a collab,
like a collab album or something.
Yeah,
like some Bad Meets Evil type shit.
Yeah. I think it would be pretty fucking dope, man. Just let me make all the beats.
I got you.
Because one thing I love doing is like putting together whole projects of shit. Like whether I work with somebody else or like myself, like I like to like mold the sound and shit like that. And I like to try to push not like too much to where they're like fuck this guy, but like I like to sometimes push like a beat, because I'll listen to people when I work with them and listen to what they've done, and I'll try to push a beat on them that they might have never like really rhymed on or done anything on, but I think they would sound great on. And at first doing that. Like, I don't know if I like that beat, and I'm like, well, just try to do something. And you know how many times I've just like, and then something super dope come out of that. And but yeah, there's been a few times where it was like, okay, maybe we shouldn't have done that. But for the most part, you get something dope out of that, and vice versa too. Like I've worked with some producers, like producer rapper Remy Johnson back in the day. I used to work with him, and he was a producer, rapper, well, a rapper producer, I'll say, because he was a rapper first. But then when he started making beats, he had like this really soulful way of like of making beats, and his music, like the shit he came up on was real different than what I came up on. So Sonic, and he sampled a lot. So sonically, it sounded real crazy, and the way he would chop it up, I think he used Reason back in the day. If you ever used Reason, I couldn't fuck with Reason, but a lot of people would make beats with Reason. And Reason had a way to pop a sample, or he would just take the whole song, load it into Reason, and then Reason would chop it up for him, right? Into these little pieces. And then you could arrange those pieces to snap to whatever the tempo is, and you could change them a little bit, so it kind of would give it like a DJ Premier-ish feel, you know what I'm saying, with like the sample in like weird different ways. And once he learned how to do that, it was like all his beats would come out that way, and all of his drums were like real snappy and shit. He kind of like started making beats just out of like necessity, like I think a lot of people do. Like he was rapping and couldn't find decent enough beats that really were what he wanted it to sound like, so he just started making it. But man, when he started getting into it, I would be like, yo, he was one of those people where like I wanted his beats. I'm like, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one. And then it just turned out to be where like I was taking all his beats, so I had to stop. But like I would love that, where if a producer reached out to me and was like, I want to do a whole project with you, I would be like, fuck yeah, if I'm feeling the beats and shit, you know what I mean? Because I feel like you put together a whole project with somebody, and it's not, and no offense to anybody who like just goes on the internet and buys beats, because that's what the internet is for, and that's what buying beats is for. But I feel like when you know someone personally and you're able to actually be like maybe in the studio setting with them at least just a couple times to vibe and see what it's like, and then you go and you put something together, especially like I said, push the boundaries a little by trying to get them to step out of the comfort zone with a beat here and there. I really think magic happens, man, because I've done this a few times. I've done it. I did it with Shamik the God. We put a whole album together back in 2019. We put it out in early 2020. Then I did it with a Lunar Landing, and that came out dope. It was an EP, and I did one with Demon Dog. Pretty much, I did I did like most of the beats on there, and the stuff that they did was it was fucking amazing. And then having my hands tied into that is getting the stuff back to mix and master after it's all recorded, and I never had to go down there. You know what I'm saying? That's like 2022 shit. Like these motherfuckers are all over, and then next thing you know, I get all the stems back, and it sounds like I recorded it at my place because I'm able to mix and master it exactly how I would do it. And wow, does it come out just crazy good, man. And with like, especially working with someone like you, where you've got all those tools already at your disposal and you already have been doing it, and it's kind of like you're self-taught, you know what I'm saying? I'm assuming you're self-taught, really, like you kind of just learned this all on your own. Yeah. So like where you come in, having the force of the two people working together even makes it even better. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, I'm talking about you specifically, but this would apply to anyone who does what you do. But like having that extra hand and like the extra ear to say, I really like how this sounds, but I think we could do this, rather than the artist who's just like, wow, that sounds dope, let's roll with it. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
it's like that's what Opie and I do, man. Like, not once have I sent him something and he was like, this is perfect. It's like, yo, switch this a little bit. And the same thing comes from him to me. I've noticed with him, the way that he produces shit, it sounds a little muffled sometimes. And that's just his speakers that he has. His speakers and his headset. I know that they don't work well together. But like once you have two things from the same company, usually they tend to sound pretty well together. Then you know, you can get that shit going and sound pretty well. But past that, we send each other shit all the time, whether it be beats that we find online or just samples or some shit. And it's like, yo, do you like this? It's like, yeah, I like it, but do what the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you're done, and I'll critique like just some small production shit. Past that, just make what you want. I'll critique production.
And when you have that trust too with an artist or someone you're collabing with, to just be like, send them something. Like a lot of times I'll send off a beat and I got like a verse or a hook on it to someone or some people, and I'll be like, what do you think of this? And then you patiently wait, and I'm not pointing fingers at anyone here, but you patiently wait for them to give you it back. And
hey man, listen, that original verse that I wrote was fucking trash. All right, it was during COVID. Like I had COVID during that shit. Fuck that verse. Right. This new one is insane, dude. You're gonna hear this and be like, okay,
well, the album
you didn't have to do them that dirty, but
you still got time to get it in, because I still hasn't been like submitted to the DSPs yet.
I got you.
Because I'm still waiting on a verse from someone else too. So like I said, I'm not pointing fingers. And what I love about it though is like when you do send something out to someone that you trust is gonna do something dope on it, when you get it back, it's like Christmas, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
opening a fucking present because you don't know exactly what you're gonna get, but you know it's gonna be good, you know. And I don't say that about everybody, but I mean, you're one of the artists that I've been waiting to fucking work with ever since Nate told me that when we started talking about the shows. I think it was like mid 2021 or whatever that was.
Yeah, around August. Yeah.
Yeah, we started talking about shows and shit, and well, Nate was like, "Yo, I was like, is anybody up here making music anymore?" Like, because I was trying to see if he was gonna come out of retirement, but he just wasn't having it. And then he's like, "Yo, you should just hit up my boy from fucking Grand Isle." It's like right there. I'm like, "Oh, for real?" Boom. Next thing you know, he sent me like the links to your shit, and I was like, "This guy's from fucking Grand Isle, bro." He's like, "Yeah."
East
like,
side, big bumfuck nowhere. Like,
it was like, what? And yeah, ever since then, when I heard, I mean, obviously you know this, but you have like a unique voice, right? So it's not like just a plain old voice that you hear. And then accompany that with the influences, like the Tech Nine shit, which totally makes sense now that you've pointed that out. Before it was like, this is real unique, and it is unique because your voice and the flow and all together. And then you mentioned that Tech Nine, I'm like, that makes a lot of fucking sense now that I'm thinking about it, for influence wise. So like for me, that there's nothing greater, I think, when talking about music than collaboration.
yes.
And it's been going on for
100%.
years, whether behind the scenes, like, you know, with writers or producers that don't even get fucking mentioned half the time. But you have to like look in the liner notes, be like, oh, well, 18 people wrote this song. You know, not saying that that's like what's going on.
Yeah.
But that is collaboration, you know what I'm saying? And that it makes, sometimes it's necessary to grow and do different things and step out of your comfort zone, and to be able to take that criticism sometimes, or I say criticism, but like constructive criticism, and throw ideas like you and Opie do, right?
Yeah.
To be able to do that and not have your ego get in the way and be like, oh, what the fuck, you know, like you're not feeling my shit. Like, you got to get over that and just vibe with the fucking collab, because 9 times out of 10, what you're getting out of that collab, it's not just music. It's not just like what you're producing for music. It's what you're learning and growing from, what going through the process of that and taking
100%.
the back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So it helps you grow even more as an artist, as you're just sitting in your one space and just creating music that you're like, yes, I love this. And then you move to the next, like, oh, I love this one too. And then nobody's ever hearing it, and you just put it out, and then you don't have any criticism before you're able to put it out. I like to play shit for everybody. Like even on this show, like at the end of the show, sometimes I'll play on, like last week, I played a little snippet of something that hasn't even come out yet. And just to kind of put it out there. And I feel like when I do that, and I got some feedback on that from some people I know, and then you can roll from there. But back in the day, everybody was so secretive, you know, they didn't want to leak albums. They didn't want anybody to hear shit. And it's only like their
Now it's just singles.
Yeah, now it's singles, but their close circle of people will hear that music. And obviously your close circle of people isn't really usually the best. You know what I'm saying? You got to step outside of that and like show it to somebody who probably doesn't even like listen to hip hop or has ever really heard you, and be like, yo, what do you think of this? And be like, oh shit, yeah, I like this and that. And I like doing that a lot. Like I'll play my mother music. For instance, my mom, she doesn't even listen to hip hop or nothing like that, right? Yeah. So like to get her perspective on the music, like when I play it and have feedback that's actually not just saying, oh yeah, I like it, you know, that's not real feedback. But to have, my mother will always say, find something in the music. So that's how I know she's listening, to point out. So I really like
Opie's mom does the same thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and to have somebody come at, and then it's always something that I never would be thinking that would be pointed out. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it'll be in the beat, sometimes it'll be something that I said or whatever. And someone someone's not in your super close circle as far as making music, because they'll always be like, yo, that shit's fire. That's what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, because sometimes I'll just play a song to people when they don't even like. I won't even tell them it's me. And if they like sometimes it's like, yo, what the fuck is this? And it's like, you're welcome. Stupid shit.
Yeah, man, it's crazy to play music for people. And I've done that too. Like, just played music. Yo, you want to hear this new shit? Play it, and then they'll be like, yo, like, who's that? And be like, oh, that's just me. Like, that was you singing on the hook too? Yeah, that was me. They're like, what the fuck? Like, I've had people be like, nah, that can't be you. That can't be you singing. And I'm like, it is. And I'm not even good. Like, I self-admit, I'm not great at singing. I throw some auto-tune on there and make it sound good because I kind of know how to work with auto-tune. And I mean, I'm not horrible, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a singer. But I know music, and I'm able to kind of like make things sound good. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like I said, collaboration is important because I did that a lot, and it helped me grow so much as a artist, and just become more creative. And when you get more creative, you start doing different things, and it leads to other shit. And next thing you know, you're making incredible shit. And that's basically the goal. Is if we're feeling good about the stuff we're doing, that helps our mentality, right? Because we're doing it for ourselves, basically.
Yeah.
So if we're doing stuff and we're thinking it sounds good, I think that's pretty much where it ends. Like if I think it sounds good, that's cool. But when I step out of that comfort zone and I play it for someone else, I'm opening myself up to the criticism mode. Is it good? Is it not? And I don't want someone to just be around to be like, that's great, every single thing you make, because not every single thing you do is going to be great. It's just not. So
no, I have songs that I listen to now. It's like the other day, my girlfriend played one, and I was sitting there like, change this shit, please.
yeah,
please change this shit.
I have a few of those. Yeah, I have a few songs I listen back and I'll think. I will admit, back in like 2008, 2009, when I first got into auto-tune, oh man, I had some songs that were just crazy. The fucking hooks were like ridiculous. Like, Justin, that album, Auditory Hallucinations that I put, it was like 2009. I recorded it on a laptop like this on a fucking microphone, but right here, like this one, right? Just like this, I'd be rapping at the computer like this, not even a mic or anything hooked up to it. And so the quality isn't as good as it could be, but the way that I was putting together the songs, it was like I was learning this auto-tune thing and learning the hooks, and some of the hooks are just fucking killer. And I wish I could go back. I wish I could just say I never even made that album and just remove it from the history and then take a bunch of those hooks and like put them on new shit. Even those beats I made back then too, and then just like put it back out, because my verses were pretty much trash at that point because I was spending so much time on trying to make these crazy auto-tune hooks. The verses were just like filler to me. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. They come to the hook, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, the hook. Yeah. And then it's like the rest of the song is just like filler, you know? And now I feel like I'm kind of bringing that all kind of full circle where, making good verses and good hooks together is a great thing. But for me, it still boils down to collaboration, because I'll make a song and I'll put one verse on it, or I'll make just the hook, and then I'm automatically looking for, who can I send this to? You know what I mean? Who on my friends list is going to make something to this? I'll send it out to a few people and I'll wait for what I get back, because the collaboration thing is almost funner than me just doing it by myself. Yeah. Like I want to have,
like you said, it's like a gift
to have somebody on it.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, it's a gift. Yeah. When you get that verse back, it feels like a fucking gift. You open it up and you're not expecting what you get, but sometimes it's a banger. Sometimes you got to tell them to change a couple words because you think it's going to cause controversy.
I usually just let it roll. You know what I'm saying? I won't usually say like, yo, I don't like it. I'm not really that type to come out and say, yo, that was trash. You know what I'm saying? I kind of am. With music anyway, like in real life, I tell a motherfucker straight up, you know what I'm saying? But with music, I know, because I've been there. I've been that person who really wanted my music to be great early on and be like, and if someone was like, that's trash, I probably would have been like devastated. Like, I'm not going to make music then. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Fuck it. It's trash. No, luckily no one ever did say that to me. And I kind of take that with me. Whereas I'm not going to ever, even if like the person is obviously not great, I'm going to try to find positive things to pull from it and give that information instead. You know what I'm saying? Bypass the negative shit. And I do point, and I will point some things out. I usually don't try to point out flow and delivery or content as much as what they're saying, unless it's like I'm fucking popping pills and I'm doing blah, blah, blah. I don't really feel that shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's like a moral dilemma, like a personal thing. But I always try to find the positive, like, that hook sounded good, or I really liked the beat, or I thought that the way that you did this was good. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like having that as an artist kind of helps build you up in a way, and 100%. In turn can help you. It's all about growth and help you grow. And when you're able to grow, you're able to fucking let out these frustrations to the music and your emotions or whatever. And you avoid having to go to the therapist, bro. That's pretty much what it's all about.
Very true on that point.
Yeah. But yeah, so talking about music though, new rap versus old rap. And I don't know how many like live shows you've done up to this point. It seems like almost like half of your fucking career has been COVID. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So No live shows, but okay. So if getting into live shows, right? We talk about this on the show all the time. Rapping over your vocals or no, right? Because for me, I'll go first because I've done some shows and been around a lot of shows. For me, it's a no-go, right? Like I have seen so many shows where people, and I don't care if you rap over your vocals or not. I'm just saying for personal preference, I want to see something unique and different every time I see someone perform live. So even if they fuck up, like you fuck up your words and you just keep going like a soldier, like that makes me respect you that much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
not only you fucked up, you brought it back.
Yeah. And I want to see something unique every time I'm out there to see a live show. I don't want to just be hearing your shit like I would hear it on Spotify. So for me, I like that just a beat and someone rapping over it. It's very old school. Another thing that I really love is having a hype man. So I think that's like an essential part of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? If you can find someone to be there, be your hype man, I say
Hit
go
the fillers.
Yeah, hit the fillers, and that helps not have to have the backing tracks and whatever on your shit. And so you haven't done any shows yet, but what's your opinion on that? Like, if you go to a show, do you want them coming out rapping on fucking vocals, or do you want them coming out with like some fresh shit that?
I would prefer just the instrumental, but if it's like older shit and you don't have that file anymore,
right?
Like, I fucking get that. You know what I mean? Because I have some like troubled. I don't have the original shit for that. It's all on Audacity, and I don't run that. So
yeah,
like if anything, if I had to do that one, which I don't want to do that one, I'm gonna just go over the vocals because it's the only thing I can do past that.
Right. I get that. Yeah, I definitely get that because believe me, some of my shit back in the day, I couldn't find a beat for it, or I couldn't find a version of it. But then again, I probably on that older shit, I probably just passed too. Like I probably wouldn't do it.
I feel like I could do that old. I want to remake that one, honestly.
Yeah. It might be a good idea. It might be a good idea for you to do that. But yeah, rapping over vocals is like pretty much a big no-no. You know what I mean? There are times where you can get away with having it on the hook to help you out there, or having certain points in the verse where you might have like some panning out, some reverb or some effect on certain parts. Okay, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is when someone just comes in straight up with the song, the vocals aren't lowered at all, and it's just because you're fighting that too. When that vocals playing through the system, it's going to be loud if you've recorded your song pretty good. So they've got to crank your mic up and or turn the song down to get you really. And then it becomes, if you're not hitting it absolutely perfect, it's sounding like it's off, and it can become pretty bad. I've seen some performances too where these kids were rapping over their vocals, but really they're like, and their voice, and then the mic's out here and they're still rapping. Like the music's going in there, but the microphone is
I've seen shit like
by
that.
their side, and they're just dancing around. And I'm like, I'm not here to see you dance, bro. You know what I mean? This isn't a strip club. All right, I'm not here for that. I'm here to watch you perform your songs, and that's what sometimes people don't get. And nowadays, in this generation, is kind of brought this. This is kind of how it is now. Is it? People can get famous off a fucking song. It's all a vibe. It's not even about what they're saying. It's just, the beat is cool and their hook was catchy, and we don't even care if it's even them rapping. Like, we don't even care. Oh, it's Milli Vanilli. We don't give a fuck. Like, who cares? Back in the day,
who the fuck's Milli Vanilli?
Got ran out of fucking town. But if they had a Milli Vanilli rap group right now, it was like two old fucking white British guys in the studio rapping, and it had two young guys like in the videos, like, and you thought it was them, and it came out it was just some old guys. People would be like, who gives a fuck? It's not like it is back in the day, and that can be good and it can be bad.
What's your take on the Island Boys?
No, cancel. Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here.
Fucking Island Boys, right? I fuck with this dude named Chris Hayes. He runs New England mixtapes and shit, and he's actually just got a show on Triller TV. He does like every week. Triller's like what they do Versus on. Versus is on Triller. Yep. So he has a show I think it's Monday or Sunday or whatever, and he plays local music that's been submitted from around New England and shit like that. And apparently he's been feuding with the Island Boys. So if you go over to New England Mixtapes on Instagram, you'll see all these videos of him fighting with the Island Boys and shit. And he wants to set up a pay-per-view to fight them. And he said he'll fight them one by one. Right after he said,
I'll fucking do it.
And they won't do it though. That's the thing. And he's calling them out on social media. It's funny because he's talking like one of the videos he's doing this, and they're mocking him like back, and it's so fucking hilarious, dude. Because these kids are fucking clowns, bro. And I don't know
New
if
England
they really have money like they claim they do, and like I don't know how they would even get that money, and that's not even really the point. The point is why? You know what I'm saying? What's the point? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because I've never heard a single song they did except for that stupid video I saw where they're in the little jacuzzi thing. Island Boy, whatever the fuck, right? So I never heard
an Island Boy.
Yeah, I never heard nothing else from them. So
I guess it's like a TikTok song or something that blew up.
yeah, well, here's the thing: is those guys right there are the definition of culture vultures, right? And so, I mean, what they're doing is trying to capitalize on something that they have no idea about anything of the background or the history of the culture of, you know, hip hop or island music for that matter, like Caribbean music at all. They're making a mockery of it, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just like, oh well, I can fucking do my hair all like this and talk about being from the island. You're fucking from Minnesota or wherever the fuck you're from. You know what I mean? So to me, it's a no-go, because
100%.
it's to the extreme. You know what I'm saying? Like there's ways to love the culture of hip hop, in not only hip hop, but you know, all African American based music in culture in general, and not be like them. You know what I mean? Like I mean, they're just totally like over the top, and it's like you can have tattoos and you can, you know, dress a certain way, and it's cool. And if you do it in a classy way, they're not doing that. And what they're doing is trying to capitalize on the culture, and they don't care if they're gone tomorrow if they're able to make some money today. And I really don't think that that's the way to go about it. Yeah. You got to be in the long haul.
I find them dumb as fuck.
Yeah, definitely. And they're not themselves. You know what I mean? Like that can't be how they really are.
Like they don't go home, Island Boy. Like they probably get home, jack off, and fucking put their dildos down from their head and shit, and you know. Maybe
they go into stores and into places now and are like that. You know what I mean? Because it's so popular. But do you think like, you know, 5-6 years ago that they looked like that and they were going around like that? No, because they got popular on TikTok. TikTok's the worst thing to even deal with these days. The kids are all fucked up off TikTok and Instagram and all these fucking things that they're on, man. Their kids what they see in their reflected in their own images is distorted. It's not reality. It's like everything.
It's like influencers.
Yeah, it's just
fucking
like
influencers.
It's horrible time to be a fucking kid trying to grow up through. I don't know, like what I went through as a fucking kid. If I had all this TikTok and whatever, and especially if I say this, like females are really especially affected. I think, not to say that male can't be, but I feel like females too. It's their body image issues. If they have any, it can be just super distorted by what they see because of filters and everything else, and how people are. I don't know, man. They look up to these influencers, and half the time these influencers aren't really trying to be the type of person that's looked up to. They're just trying to make money and do whatever is popular.
Well, there's no accountability for these people either.
No.
You know,
they can do what they want, which is ridiculous. It just doesn't make any sense. But we go on all fucking day talking about how fucked up this current situation of new rap versus old rap is in different outlets. Like before, you had to listen to your hip hop on MTV or on the radio or whatever, and now it's like it's everywhere because hip hop is a pop genre. You know what I mean? It's popular, and people that's a lot of people listen to it more than back in the early '90s. So, not to take away from new rappers like J. Cole, Kendrick, or you know, all these dope rappers that are out now, but I'm not fucking with Island Boys. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So. So yeah, let's jump into top 5 dead or alive, right? We'll let you pick. It can be art, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be music related. It can be
any order.
Any topic.
Yeah, any
topic for anything.
Any topic could be food, movies, songs, albums, producers, whatever you want. That could be easy for you to find a top 5 for. And we'll go along with it. So whatever you pick, we'll try to throw out a top 5 too.
I got you. Let's say George Carlin. That man's a fucking legend. Yeah, I fucking love corn dogs. I fucking love corn dogs. There's something about it. You dip that shit in anything.
Do you make homemade corn dogs? Or are you talking?
Like I used to.
Yeah.
I used to. Yeah, no,
Those are
fuck
probably
street food.
good.
But we don't have that up here. No, man, I used to sit there with my mom back in the day and make corn dogs, and that shit was like bomb. That or fucking meatloaf, like from my mom. Like
Corn
both
dogs
of
is
those things are
basically
just
what? It's cornbread and a hot dog, right?
literally a hot dog with cornbread wrapped around on a stick. Throw that bitch in the fryer.
Yeah. Just in case anybody out there has never heard of a corn dog before.
Yeah. If you haven't heard of a corn dog,
Yeah. If you hadn't heard of
Shame
a
on
corn
you.
dog, I
if
know
you
one
haven't
by-
had a corn dog,
I know one by the name of. Not gonna say it, but I know some. I know some corn dogs out there. All right,
but
keep
yeah,
going.
George Carlin corn dogs. I'm a fucking fanatic for firearms. I love guns, not like just they go bang, and I like the mechanism, so it's fun for me. So
So you take them apart and all that other stuff, and
oh yeah,
yeah.
can we show guns on here? Is that a thing?
I don't give a fuck. Show it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
This is my little baby. I built this from scratch, and I gotta say, it is probably my favorite thing that I've had in a long time.
What the fuck you got on the end of that thing? Bring it into
Well, it's
focus.
getting into focus is kind of an issue with software, but here, suppressor.
Oh yeah, is that like aluminum or what?
This is
Metal
all stainless
alloy?
steel when it comes to the suppressor,
That
but
thing is
I
nice.
have a titanium one on the way.
Sick. So every piece of that you bought and then pieced it
Yep.
together.
Yeah, barrel, castle nut,
That's the way to
four
do
grip,
it.
everything. Yeah.
Nice.
If you're,
Yeah,
if you're gonna
no, I-
have something like that, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I know that thing inside and out. Take it apart,
Yeah.
clean it, make sure any malfunctions get fixed. Stuff like that.
Now, what are
Uh,
you using it for though?
hunting,
Just hunting. That's it.
hunting, home defense, if
Yeah.
it need be.
So it's not like you don't like take it everywhere with you. You just take it when you need it. Blah blah blah.
No, I have my handgun for that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
conceal carry, so
That thing there is like something you just gotta. It's like almost like I think of that as like being like me with like shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like I keep my shoes like I'm like I don't ever want to touch them, but sometimes I take them out and I look at them. It's
no, I'll go to a range or just a pit somewhere. I'll let off some rounds, get used to it, train myself so that I know what I'm doing if it need be to actually use it. So like when it comes to like a home scenario or whatever. So past that, like I'll hunt deer with it.
Yeah.
It's an 8-inch barrel. That thing can probably hit like 150 yards maximum and actually take down a deer one shot. But past that, it's no longer 5.56 300 blackout. It's on point. It's pretty good shit.
Yeah, that's good, man. I had a couple guns in my day. I just never used them. Like I had a couple handgun 380 and like a 9mm. Never used it.
No.
I took it out to the pit, like you said, took it out of the pit and just bang. And then I'm like, hey, you know
Release
what?
some steam.
I was like, I'm cool with this. I sold it. I don't even need it. But I'm not like against guns in any way. But I just think that guns is like a touchy issue. I just think that I wish that there was a way for like responsible gun owners like yourself to be separate from the idiots who get guns and do the stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Because people, when that happens, like a lot of people will just lump anyone who owns guns or whatever. Gun owners shouldn't have fucking guns. Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? So yeah. If you drop out, Justin, that's fine, man. I know your computer's dying, so no worries there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't try to lump them in together because I know there are a ton of responsible gunners, especially I've been up in northern Maine for a number of years, so I know plenty of people who's responsible with guns. But there's always them few that do shit that you're like, fuck, man. And when it happens, the school shootings and everything else, you really do. And I mean, I really think about it, like, how can we fix that? And it's like, we have so many things in place already, and it's like, how much more can we do? And how much more are we willing to do? You know what I'm saying? And then how much does that take into our rights and shit like that? And it's like such a fucking crazy issue. We could literally talk probably for weeks about it. You know what I'm saying?
Easily weeks.
But we need two more things from you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Computers. I'm a fanatic of computers. I built my own setup. Like I do everything myself when it comes to that.
Yep.
Fix my own electrical issues when it comes to that shit too. That and I mean, past one more thing. I grow weed. I grow a fuck ton of weed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like
work
that.
for a dispensary, so that's always fun.
Yep, I like that. Growing weed is something I've done plenty of times. I can't do it right now in the situation I'm at, but I mean, I would get back into it in a heartbeat if I had the way to do it and the space to do it.
Let me ask you this:
Justin,
hydroponic or dirt?
hydro. I did like 5-gallon deep water culture buckets, with the bubblers and shit like that. And I always had really good luck with that. Never even grew in soil. I just went to deep water culture. I watched videos on it and learned about it, and I had no issues with that. Never had like any. I heard people, pH get off and their roots get all fucked up and things. I never had any problems, so I really liked it. It was something I grew really nice fucking plants that way. So shout out to
fun. It's just culture. It's a task though. Sometimes it's not like tomato plants, just chuck it and let it grow. But
no, you are in there multiple times a day checking things. You have to be. All right, so Justin, go before your computer dies. Top 5, anything.
Well, I'm gonna follow his lead. Comedian or like artist, actor. Yeah. I would say Dave Chappelle. For sure.
Hey.
Food, we're going tacos. Third thing,
I said guns for the third one. So
yeah, I'm gonna go with computers. Okay. I'm a technology teacher, so that's kind of that's up my alley. What else? Let's see. I have to say Xbox right now. I've been ripping some Xbox recently.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what's number 5? Shit, I don't know what no cereal.
What?
Yeah,
I fucks with cereal.
I would have guessed that. I don't know how many times me and you come. I'd be staying at your house or something. We come back 2-3 in the morning. Before we go pass out drunk, we eat cereal at the fucking. And go pass out drunk and shit. We numerous times, like it's got to be. I mean, sweet, sugary. It don't even matter what kind of cereal. It could be fucking whatever. It's always
the driest of the dry, no sugar. Fuck it. Throw some milk in that bitch and eat it.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Fucking even eat cereal dry. Yeah, it don't matter. Just eat it. All right. So for me, I don't know if I'm gonna stick to that. I'm gonna try. So for artists, or we'll try a comedian, I guess. I was gonna say Dave Chappelle, so I'm just gonna say that anyway because I mean I think he always has been one of the funniest guys. But Kevin Hart's pretty funny too. Yeah. Food. It's definitely gonna have to be like some steak, probably like prime rib type shit with like onions, green peppers, like some potatoes, some fucking side. That's like a bomb ass meal for me. Guns I'm not really into, but yeah, like you said, I mean I don't mind, but like I just don't have any, so I can't really talk about it. But like I'll just say like virtual guns, like go on PlayStation, play Warzone, Call of Duty, shit like that. Yeah, that's fun for me. My TV's big enough that if I look at it, it almost is the size of a real gun, so it's kind of like real ways.
I got you. 55-inch plasma or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. And so what else was that? I said food. I want to say movies right now because I went and saw the new Scream and that fucking movie was great. I probably would have went back to the theater and seen it again. That's how good it was, and just to see what I might have missed in it. Because for me, I'm just a horror movie kind of guy, and Scream was like a huge one because it was like I was like 12, 13 when it came out, so it was like right in that time frame where you're interested in learning all the pop culture shit. So it stuck in my mind, and then I liked all the fucking sequels that they did to it. For the most part, I think the fourth one was a little iffy. But yeah, this reboot was really great. So if anybody's out there wondering, I mean, I went and saw it in the theater. It's probably the first movie I saw in the theater since before COVID. And it was well worth the trip to the theater to see. Granted, if you don't like to go to the theater, we'll just wait for it to come home. But go check it out because it was dope.
Yeah, man. I didn't even know they remade it.
Yeah, Scream 5 is what they're calling it. But yeah, it had all the original cast members. Well, not all of them, I guess, but 3 of them. And they even CGI'd the Billy Loomis guy, Skeet Ulrich's character. They CGI'd him in there like as a memory for like, it's just like, it's weird. When he popped up, I had no idea it was going to be there because he's not in the credits, right? Because it's not really him. It's CGI. And I was like, what the fuck? Just threw me off. I was like, damn, okay, wait, all right. And they try to paint him as a different person in this movie, which is weird. I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but it's a different perspective than the first one. He was real nutty in the first one, but then this one he's more like he's different, and it's weird. Obviously he's dead, but the memory of him or something, whatever it is, they try to portray. It was pretty cool. And the last thing I'm gonna say is Nike. Anything fucking Nike, dude, I'm a fanatic about. And weed. Obviously, we already know, like, weed is my life. I smoke weed all the fucking time, but that's a gift. Okay, but
Not right now. You're not.
collecting Nike like now. Like anything, I have literally my glasses are fucking Nike glasses. Right?
What?
Yeah, my glasses Nike. I got Nike shirt under here, a bunch of hoodies and shoes. It's like, I don't know if it's just like what I did like 3 or 4 years ago. I bought a bunch of Nike shit and I still have it all. Like I haven't had to throw it out. It hasn't been ruined, and it just made me think like, all right, I'm paying like $20 more for like some of this stuff that I might pay, but it's lasting me 3-4 years, like and more. So it's worth it, you know?
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
Exactly. So for me, I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna keep buying this and keep buying more. And now I've kind of become like the Nike man. Like my fuck kids just call me Nike man. Every day I have something. I'm like always dressed in Nike. So for me, it's right now anyway. It's fucking Nike. I'm all about it. I'm always looking on their fucking. I can't stay off of their app. I can't stay off of like looking for Nike shit. Damn, I have an issue. I have problems with that. So me, that's my top 5 dead or alive right now. And yeah. So what are we at? Oh yeah. Let's do the rest of these songs. I'm gonna play the rest of these songs. We'll probably just play them in succession, and then we'll talk about new releases and upcoming projects that you have after we play this that you might have coming out that you want to mention for people, and then we'll do final shout outs and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good, man.
All right, cool, man. Let me pull up this second one down here, which is Why I Gotta, right? Produced by Just Dan and Bouley. So let me full screen this and share this over. And Justin, are you dying yet? Are your things dead?
Just about. We're sitting at 1%, so I'm gonna try to make it through this song, but we'll see.
This is crazy.
Sounds good, man.
I've never seen something sit like at 1% for so long.
Is it an Apple product?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, it's a MacBook.
I'm surprised.
And of course, it's taken forever for me to get it to share. There we go, sharing. All right, so here we go. Why I got it? So let's play this right now.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorites, by the way.
Hey. I don't ever think about my life in the right sense. Maybe because I've been jumped by my mic hands. I act a little outright and I'm quite dense. My father said I'm right once, I've been right since. My mother told me to keep it down upstairs. The cops are coming, so I'ma shout up theirs. I'm making music, you could have just bought ears. Instead of sending money to dummies who wipe tears off of the glass face where your father's actually. Like, why you gotta worry about if a bitch's ass fake? Double timing often so you don't end up in last place. Mix it all together, find you a Beretta, put it to Coretta, let her put her own pain in the ashtray. Doomsday prepper, I'm up on another level. Automatic weapons, believing people befuddled. Questioning the system and keeping it to a huddle. I let off on the regular, but you still don't see no puddles. Pick up out the rubble, wanna pop it like a bubble. I'ma leave you all a shuttle if you wanna send a memo. Fuck the sentimental, I'ma say how it is for the kids, for the bitches. If you with this, like, why I gotta try, why I gotta fly, why I gotta die when I finally started to feel good. Why is suicide always on my mind? Gotta give it a try, maybe one of these days I'll be all good. Why I gotta try, why I gotta fly, why I gotta die when I finally started to feel good. Why is suicide always on my mind? Gotta give it a try, maybe one of these days I'll be all good. Why I gotta lie, why I gotta be high, gotta defy what I call peace in a bleak sky. Peep my little east high where the bees fly. Could have been arrested for the beeb in the heat pipe. Sleep thy bitty queen by, never screen times when I gotta keep a peace with a meat hide like a freeze dried slab of beef. Eyes roll back in my head, another news said another teen died. I was working making pizza when I got a little dizzy. It was busy in the city but my heart was feeling shitty. Took a 30 then a 50, made it dirty, sniffing Whitney. Never thought that I was drifting, couldn't see what I was missing, no. I was lacking all attention, I was slacking in detention. How the fuck you even manage? I was packing my own damage, I was stacking my own standards. Set for victors who were handled like a mission of man. But I've been taking one-way trips to a place like Japan. And on the low, I've been low like the bass in the band. Suicidal visions got me thinking again, until I saw my mama praying to invisible man. Take my only life by the pull of my hand. I need a Nina, not a chopper, cost a couple of grand. Fly to Costa Rica, sit my ass in the sand. So when my father find the calls, I'ma pick up a stand like, why I gotta try, why I gotta fly, why I gotta die when I find finally started to feel good. Why is suicide always on my mind? Gotta give it a try, maybe one of these days I'll be all good. Why I gotta try, why I gotta fly, why I gotta die when I finally started to feel good. Why is suicide always on my mind? Gotta give it a try, maybe one of these days I'll be all good.
Yeah, so we lost a cousin.
It's all good.
But yeah, I had to turn that one up. I love that one, man. That's a great one.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
That beat too. It's just got that that vibe, that xylophone in there. I love that.
That's what I love the most out of that. That is
like so
fucking
perfect
xylophone.
the way that it fucking hits in there, and how your the flow just don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like you can. It's almost like you're flowing that song. You can like fucking. You can almost just take the fucking beat right out of it and just listen. Like I'd love to hear just the acapella of it. You know what I'm saying? Like because I feel like without it, you still would be keeping the same tempo and the same. Like you could drop out the beat and bring it back, and it would never make a difference. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's supposed to be there. Like your vocals are supposed to be in with the song. And before he died out, he had to leave them. He had to leave the message. Vibes. Yeah, I'm feeling it. That one I've heard plenty of times. I played that one a lot. All right, so yeah, let's I got some more here. I think we're gonna do another one.
Yeah, that last one was that was the first one that I'm back living at my dad's place right now. So that was the first track that I made back here. And it was like kind of low key trying to make it without anybody hearing me because they got the store downstairs and shit. So it's like trying not to be too loud.
There's a store downstairs from your house? What do you own a store or you just?
My dad owns a store. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, my dad owned a store for a while when I was younger too. I used to just go down and like fucking make pizza and sandwiches. And people like,
exactly, bro.
Exactly, same like shit. A kid. Yeah, just like grabbing sodas. One time I told all my friends that came from school, I was in like middle school, like 6th or 7th grade. After we had a baseball game, I told everybody come to my house for free pizza and free drinks. Just the whole team showed up. Everybody just grabbing drinks out of the freezer. My dad's like, "What the fuck's going on here?" Yeah, it was crazy. Do that again. I was like, "What?" I was just
my dad will whoop my ass.
Just trying to be cool.
My dad will whoop my ass instantly. Give everybody free shit.
Store is closed. I don't think he delivered the order, but I think he just completed it. Took the fucking,
That's crazy. All right, yo, let me share this one. This is Buckback, produced by Odd Stats, right? Let's play. Let's check this one over and play this one. I hate this system they got on Restream. I have to reshare it every time I want to bring it up. But here we go. All right, so this is Buckback.
Man, I thought I had my life set. Fuck a bitch with no balance. Trippy hippies gonna let jets. Fuck them over, they savage. Undisputed regulations here. Used to carry in baggage. I took my L's and I gave them kids. Call me the rat game parent, cause I'm fucking on back. Bitch, I'm fucking on back. Don't really wanna tell you about my whole life. Oh well, it'll seep out through the drain pipe. One of these days, heat waves and a drone strike. Might drop bombs on us all, never mind gripe. Low light nights, never let up on the low lives. Whole might go strike on the whole dime like a lone time. Probate, pros by everything anyway. Never settle for a gold mine. Like tell me the possibilities of me dying soon. Cause I'm an oddity, all I do is spew truths. Call it a prodigy, then you get a few dues. Trying to shut them down or they gon' release you. Put it to the brain, never stay, move through. Hit him like a train, should've let you choose. Needle to the vein, it can slay you too. Dang, this game never seems so blue. I'm fucking on back. Take a little limerick, I pick up on a sick kid in seconds. I can be the one to give him on another wish like cancer patient sitting in the room division waiting for a new prescription. Bitch, I'm fucking on back. Everybody's got it in the violence of the matter. They can gather for the fact that I'm a clapper and the master of these rappers. Fuck a packer and your flappers pitter patter, little faggers, you don't matter. I'm fucking on back. Take a little limerick, I pick up on a sick kid in seconds. I can be the one to give him on another wish like cancer patient sitting in the room division waiting for a new prescription. Bitch, I'm fucking on back. Everybody's got it in the violence of the matter. They can gather for the fact that I'm a clapper and the master of these rappers. Fuck a packer and your flappers pitter patter, little faggers, you don't matter.
Selitemos al poet nittot nitiraviet S1 zilatert. Their noisy vids on the fuso. Why doulos el babor, take you dear.
16 years could have had another vision. Gun on one hand, might kill him with the mic. I go psycho, put me in positions. Why does everybody gotta look at me with fright? I've been labeled as a menace to the fucking system, but I don't give two fucks, ducking in the night. Wonder why women really wouldn't wanna miss him. Take a look at my time, better at despite I lose myself in this gloomy hell. Who produced the smell, cause I'm the fucking shit. Well, I don't do well when there's dicks to quell. Look at yourselves, you another simple bitch. Every single fucking record blasphemous. Cut out like street gangs cannabis. I don't wanna be the one to kill another homie. Blow me if you come up claiming you a pacifist. Ding ding ding, now time is up. I let the blood leak out into a solo cup. I'm sober drunk, never really gave a fuck. This hopeless love got me in the rope that's hung. 20 years later couldn't focus shit like poker switch. Floating in a potion ditch. I've opened this, loading clips, just in case there's another kid with a fucking vocal hit. Cause I'm fucking on back.
Take a little limerick, I pick up on a sick kid in seconds. I can be the one to give him on another wish like cancer patient sitting in a room division waiting for a new prescription.
Bitch, I'm fucking on back.
Everybody's got it in the violence of the matter. They can gather for the fact that I'm a clapper and the master of these rappers. Fucking packer and your flappers pitter patter, little faggers, you don't matter.
I'm fucking on back. Bitch, I'm fucking on back.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one before, and I like that. It was all switched up and everything, man. On that one was a little different and a little quicker, so I like that. It shows that you're trying new things and whatever else, and it's sounding good, so that's good. Yeah,
Appreciate it. I put that out on my last album, Revisions, like 2020, I think. Yeah.
2020. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one too. I mean, every song I've ever really heard from you, I never really had anything bad to say about it. So that's why you're on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, it's 10:17. Usually we end around 10. So I mean, I'm going to say right now, why don't you give everybody, your socials, any links or things you want to shout out? Let's talk about any projects that you might be putting out in the future here, and let people know where they can find you at and where they can hear your shit at. I know I got
sounds
you
good.
at the Bouley, right? For Instagram,
yes, sir.
Everything.
Instagram, Twitter, pretty much everything except for like YouTube and shit like that. Just type in Bouley, you'll find it. But past that, yeah, I'm working on a few songs right now. I still got that verse coming to you real quick. I got some remixes that I'm working on. I got a Book Bag 2.0 from it was Polo G and I forget the other dude's name, the original guy that made it. But that's a remix that I'm working on right now, and I got some other shit that I don't want to put out. I don't want to really talk about it because it's like I said, I got a lot of controversial shit coming out because I recently just haven't given a fuck. Saying what I think is on my mind. If people don't like it, they could screw off. I don't care. But past that, the Bouley, pretty much on everything. Bouley, drum.io/Bouley, and you got it. That has every single one of my links.
Yep. Dope. So yeah, man. I want to just give a quick shout out to the sponsors tonight of the show. We got mpcstuff.com. Head over there if you need anything for that, your MPC machines or whatever. I Regret Nothing Apparel, Black Maine Small Owned Black Maine. I'm fucking so tired I can't even say it.
Me too.
Small business in Maine owned by Black people, which is what we love to support. I Regret Nothing Apparel. Check them out on Instagram at IRN Apparel. Fire on 4 down 367 4th Street in Portland's Old Port. They got rec weed down there. Go check them out if you're in Portland area. And Elevate Audio and Visual. That's my promotion and music video and whatever audio and visual company that I do everything through. Head over to elevateaudioandvisual.com if you're into music videos or promos or whatever. Check it out. And obviously give Bouley some plays up on his YouTube and check out his drum.io and all his links and everything and stay up to date with what he's doing. And of course, usually we want to bring back artists. So later on, after you've done this project and you've gotten me your verse, and so maybe in the fall we'll do this again. Have you come
sounds
back
good, man.
We'll talk about the new shit then and whatever else. So yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on, and I'm gonna cut us loose now at this point and try to get some rest before I gotta get on this. I'm leaving for the airport at like 5:45 in the morning, so I'm getting on the plane at 8 and coming back to great old New England. which
Oh yeah, gotta love it.
I'll be happy to come back because my weed is waiting for me in the car.
Yeah. All right, man.
Can't
Sounds good. I appreciate having me on the show, and you have yourself a good one. Huh?
All right, man. Take it easy, bro. And later, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, sir.